just rock the 8-bit world.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's D. Bruce Moore.
It's
And
the Bruce.
Jason Reichert.
D. Bruce Moore, musical genius.
We got 7 on YouTube waiting for us.
All right.
What have I got?
And we're live streaming.
Yep, YouTube's active.
All right. Starting the intro.
Hi, this is Dale Lear,
Let's get
designer
this
of
right.
TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right. And we are here. The train has left the station. The panel is assembled. The show has begun. Lights, camera, action. This is it. This is episode 107, the CoCoFEST wrap-up show. We've got a bevy of beauties, a panel of penalists going on here. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Let's go around the room, say howdy ho to starting with Mark Bosley. How are you, Mark?
Hi, pretty good, pretty good.
L. Curtis Boyle. G'day. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm doing good.
Mark D. Overholzer. Good evening. Good afternoon.
Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
Glad to have you. Ron Delvaux. Welcome.
Between two dumpster fires, yes?
From down under, one of Nick's neighbors, David O'Connor. G'day, David.
How you doing, everybody? It's good to be here.
It's great to have you. We also have Brian, the music man. This shoe is with us from Chicago. Hello, Brian.
Here I am, go talk somewhere around.
All right, that's not creepy at all. We have with us now 2 weeks in a row out of the Witness Protection Program. Alan Huffman has returned. How are you, Alan?
Greetings from the sub-ether.
Okay. We have a gentleman's name so nice we must say it thrice. It's soundboard not working. It's Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. How are you?
Gentlemen, I'm great. How are you?
Great. A lovely shade of cocoa green on mute. Looks like Myro is here. Michael Rowan is here. Hey, Myro.
Hey, everybody. How you going? How's it doing?
Good. Hey, thanks for joining us. He's here. We have the infamous Greg, a.k.a. Grant Lead, is with us. Hello, Grant.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
It's going great. We have Richard Lorbieski with us of Voice On Technologies. Hello, Richard.
Hello. How are you?
Very, very good. Terry Steggy's in the house. How are you, Terry?
Greetings, everyone.
Excellent. The optimizer of many things, James Differendaffer, is among us. Hello, James.
I neither have the time nor the patience for this silliness.
You're still here.
Just kind of popped out and popped back in again. Bruce is with us. D. Bruce Moore. How are you, Bruce?
Great, thanks.
The Hollywood squares are kind of moving around on me quite a bit here. Sir David Ladd, Lord of the Floppies, is with us. Hello, Sir David.
Good day, everyone. I can't wait to see what we all have to share.
Excellent. And from the Thunder from Down Under, Mr. Nicholas Marentes is with us. Good day, Nick.
Yes, good day, everyone. And we're a day ahead, so I'm going to say Happy Mother's Day for all the mothers out there.
That's nice.
Thank you. I have no idea who Anonymous is. Anonymous, do you hear me? Do you copy? Okay, crickets. Okay, Jason, the Coco Man Reichert is with us, creator of the Switcheroo cable. How are you, Jason? And the Wallaby.
Howdy, and
No couches were harmed in the filming of this episode.
That's good to see. And I see his name, but I don't see a picture, and it looks like he's muted. I hope he's there, but if he is there, Boise Pete, are you among us?
I'm here, guys.
Oh, there you go. You are unmuted. Welcome, Boise. Thank you for joining us. And the subject of today's show is real simple. 2 words, CoCoFEST. We're going to talk all about last weekend's CoCoFEST and just celebrate the joy that it brought us all. So usually after we do our quick introductions, we would then talk about project updates and acquisitions. This segment might be a little bit longer than usual because probably more than one of us acquired more than one thing from CoCoFEST. So does anybody want to go first on anything you have acquired this week that you'd like to share with the world?
I have an acquisition. I was not at CoCoFEST, but I ordered it online. I got the CoCo SDC, and it is the most rockin' peripheral.
Excellent.
Really opened up the CoCo for me.
Okay, you already got it.
A whole new world.
I think there's a song about that. Yeah.
There is too.
So have you got it up and running? You got a SD card, got CoCo SDC Explorer and all that good stuff?
Buzzard bait right now off the SDC. It was very straightforward to set up. A couple of little stumbling blocks. I didn't read the FM, but other than that, it was very straightforward. The only gotcha I had was you have to stick to short direct reading if you make directories. If you don't, it doesn't like it.
Right.
So that was the only wrinkle I had. Other than that, it was smooth sailing.
Excellent.
Keep your file name short, too.
Yes, all names have to be 8.3.
8.3, the good old 8.3 naming convention that we knew and loved.
So it is amazeballs, if that's still a word.
It still is. Who else acquired a couple of things? Mark Bosley has acquired a thing or two. What are you holding up there, Mark B?
Well, I thought it would come out a little bit better, but...
A boomerang.
Boomerang.
Is that the one, or is it a picture? I can't really tell. Oh, that's it. That's the thing.
That's actually a live one. Still in the phone.
Okay. Looking good. So did you weren't at CoCoFEST, so you ordered that on the interwebs?
Yep, or on the interwebs. Haven't put it in yet. That'll be later on.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, memory boards. I can say that I've now got 3 upgrades. I've got the Triad Plus, which is actually right beside me over here. I've also got the Boomerang, and I've also got Jim Brain's CoCo 8 meg card, so I'll be testing out Nitros09 drivers and stuff using all 3 of them to make sure everything's running fine.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, I only have 2 CoCos, so I have to keep swapping one of them in and out depending on which one I'm testing.
Okay. Rob Inman says I'm way louder than the panel, FYI. Okay, Rob, I just turned on my microphone gain. Let me know if that's any better. Sorry about that. Paul Fiscarelli's out there saying, yo.
That's in Stevie's contract. He's louder than the rest of us.
You weren't supposed to mention that, Nick.
So you've got...
It's like talk shows where the talk show host sits higher than everybody else. It's the same.
While we're on the topic of CoCo 3 memory upgrades, I jumped on the bandwagon too and grabbed a 2 meg boomerang board for my CoCo 3. Made the most of the CoCoFEST deal. So that's on its way to Australia at the moment with free shipping and all. So
wow, that's nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Richard was really good there, really helped out, and great communications, a really good experience. So highly recommend.
Mark Marlette was selling them at CoCoFEST. I don't know if he has them on his website yet. I think we just checked that. I don't think he's got them announced on the website. He obviously announced them on Facebook, so they should be available from Cloud9 too, but you might need to reach out to that. But I'm glad to see a couple of you guys got some memory boards there. That's good. Mark D. Overholzer, did you acquire... Oh, hold on. What do we got? Curtis there. There it is.
Yeah, that's the memory part of the Triad Plus upgrade board. That one's over in another little bag.
Now that's the 2 megabyte one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything on the bottom of it, or is it all on the top? So you got stuff on both sides.
Yeah, there's 4 RAM chips. So.
Okay. That looks nice.
2 on each side.
And what does the DAT board look like for that?
Let me grab it here.
Yes, and that's it.
That's it. Now that is a DAT board with the memory. I'm getting the names confused, but who's
Guardian?
It's Guardian. Yeah.
Okay, is Mark's called the Guardian, or was his called the Protector? I don't remember who was called what.
It's a protector plus MMU.
Okay, there we go.
The
Protector.
connection that goes to the RAM is right here.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the protector, which protects the CPU, and it also has the DAT board, which lets you access the extra memory. And this is the one that's been updated that has read and write capability. So the previous issues are fixed, like Sierra, all that stuff. The
Donkey Kong remix.
Donkey Kong. Right. Okay. So that was
the old boards now are compatible with that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what that one looks. I didn't get a chance to see that one. He was very busy at the fest. He had his head leaned over on the workbench pretty much the entire weekend working on upgrades. And
I think he was soldering like about 16 hours.
Yeah,
a day.
yeah. Mark was a busy guy this weekend. Cool. That looks good. So memory is in the air. Mark D. Overholzer, did you acquire anything this weekend?
I did. I actually got the Triad Plus and the Protector board as well.
Okay.
But I also got from Ron Klein a Moo board.
Ooh, that's
Dragon
the
and
512 meg
Nice.
MMU, right?
Yep.
I didn't know he had those available.
Well, yeah, true. You didn't want watching the mailing list. That's where I saw it. So.
Okay. The what?
And speaking of the Moo, too, I mean, Jim's also working on the CoCoMem Junior, which is a 2 meg board for the CoCo 1 and 2. So he gave me a sample of that, and Dave Phillipson and I, who is actually in the chat as well, are going to be working on trying to get Nitros09 level 2 running on a CoCo 1 and 2 using that board.
Nice.
Let's see. Besides the Triad Plus and the Moo, the only other thing I got is I got a case for my CoCo SDC because I can't find my Tim Linder case. So I got this from John Strongware.
Okay.
So that's all I actually picked up there. So.
Okay. Very, very cool. Light load there. You're underachieving on the shopping there. Ron Delvaux, you were at CoCoFEST. Did you grab any goodies while you were there?
Yes, I did. I got, I brought some stuff to trade. I brought a MC10 and traded that off to the CoCo VGA guy.
Brendan Donahue?
Yes.
That guy. The guy who makes that thing.
Yeah, and I put it in when I got home, and I can't put it down. It's great.
Oh, so you traded an MC10 for an actual CoCo VGA kit?
Yes, actually.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a nice barter.
I traded.
That's the way to take advantage of him.
I traded Neil a 102 model 102 for a SDC. And
the 102, talking about the like the Fletcher, the little portable laptop thing. Okay.
Yeah. And so that item's coming in the mail. Then I went to John afterwards from John Linville. I got a GMC coming in the mail. I traded
Excellent.
the game. Then I got a drive wire cable from Cloud9.
Right.
And a Wallaby cable from guess who? Mr. Jason.
CoCo Man.
CoCo Man.
Shameless plug.
So you were spreading love across multiple exhibitors at the fest, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Lots of good stuff. Cool.
Happy.
And you are, I got to say, you were on fire on the Sunday auction.
Yeah. I mean, anything for $19. So I did get an SDC case for $5.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah.
That's worth it. Oh, that's the one where he was auctioning off. They were blemished, right?
Yeah. I could not find the blem anywhere.
Could not find the blemish anywhere. Cool stuff. Brian, the music man, did you pick up any goodies this weekend? This past weekend, I should say?
Yeah, I picked up Cloud9's 2 meg memory, the Triad board. It's
excellent.
And that's so I've got both a Boomerang and a Triad, so I can now try to resurrect my repacked CoCo if I can get the gimme to work right.
Excellent. Is that all you got?
Yeah. Well, I also sold a mixer that I picked up.
Yeah, I remember you showing that. Yeah.
Yeah. That, and I sold that off for what I paid for it because I couldn't use it well. But anyone who's had a Mac, you had the MIDI, you had the audio, and everything coming through the USB, and it was actually a controller head for softwares and that. So it works out good as a regular mixer, but I got many of those already.
Yeah. Cool.
Brian, when the Gimme X comes out, you can use that in place of the bad Gimme you got.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I might also have to replace the salt chip too, because on the repack, it's external power supply. I don't use the internal power supply at all, so I have to double check. So I might have smacked it with the power surge at one point.
If you're going to add a salt chip, maybe add a little bit of pepper too, so you can have salt and pepper. So
And tequila.
I'd like a little bit of Mrs. Dash with that.
How about some ouzo, guys, or some grappa?
Jason, the Coco Man Reichert, I know you were selling a couple of cables or two, but did you acquire anything while you were there?
Oh, absolutely. How could I not go to CoCoFEST and acquire something? I mean, I brought my $5 ukulele, but that's not really.
Yes.
And I seem to start a trend because we end up having a trip to Five Below and picking up more $5 ukuleles and a $5 banjo to add to the mix. I did go see Mark Marlette over there at Cloud9, and I picked up some ROM packs. I picked up this Castle of Therograd in the package for $1. I couldn't pass.
Nice. No.
Just nothing else for the sake of completeness. I picked up Tetris.
Oh, nice.
The author was there actually.
Really?
Is that Greg Zumwalt? Did he make that?
Yeah. That's
I didn't even know he was there. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Greg was.
It's a great show and tell.
I got Football 2 loose. Got a got the what is this? Sylphied. That's a Steve Bjork game, I believe.
No, I don't think so. That's Sierra Online.
Oh, is that Sierra Online?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody else. I don't remember who coded
There are
that.
a few games he didn't actually make.
Okay.
Some of the X-Spectro guys worked for them, so it might be one of the X-Spectro guys.
That's a list of things he did make. I picked up a copy of Downland from Mark also.
Okay, very cool.
And this is the one that will work on the CoCo 3. He was nice enough to let me check to make sure this one was, because I know there's two versions. So
yeah, 1.0, 1.1.
And I also picked up on cassette. I picked up I got a couple bargains here. I missed out on the Zaxxon for $1, but I got Rakatu. Hold it the right way. There we go.
Yeah, off camera. I thought it was possible. Yeah.
Off camera. That's the best, right? But
Rakatu. God bless you.
Rakatu and Rakatu and Bedlam.
Oh, that's Wally right there too. So on the cover of Bedlam. So.
Okay, yeah, for $1.
Dennis Kitts, one of the two.
Yeah.
For $1 each on cassette. Why not?
Nice.
Sounded good.
That's a steal of a deal.
What else did I get here? I went over and saw Brendan Donahue over the CoCo VGA booth. And I picked up a little printed case just in case I don't want to put if you don't want to drill holes in your CoCo, you could run the CoCo VGA board outside, and they're for $5. Why not?
That's the option I took.
Yeah, that's you know, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I got my CoCo VGA at Tandy Assembly, and I really just haven't done anything with it. Real life's been busy, but now part of this was picked up at CoCoFEST. I had picked up the Ed Snyder MCX 128 for the MC10, and went and saw, actually already arranged in advance with John Strong to have a case. So I had the case there, had the MC10 on display, and was playing around with that. And that was really the first chance I had gotten to use the MCX 128 and get some things loaded in there that required more than 4K. And it was I had good fun with that. I was pleasantly surprised by a couple of those games. Pac-Man was pretty good.
That Pac-Man was great.
It was a Pac-Man, and I had Pac-Man on there most of the time. I had a Space Invaders clone that was pretty good too, which I think is
Space
actually
Assault was ported over actually.
Yeah, it was ported from the CoCo.
Yeah, because I think no, I didn't get this at CoCoFEST, but I did have. I think I picked this up after Tandy Assembly, and I found it. I'm like, hey, I have this, and yep, that's the same game. But it was a lot of fun.
That MC10's a lot faster than a CoCo, isn't it?
Seems like it. And last but certainly not least, although I do have I picked up a copy of Farfall. Just check that out.
Yeah, I got
give
one
my
too.
CoCo 2 something to do, and it's unique.
And that's a sound card version, I presume.
This is the sound card version. I said this is unique. I want one because this is, as far as I know, this is the only thing out right now that uses that, and I thought that was unique to add to my collection. So I went over and saw John and got one of those. Mr. John Linville, and
hey, listen, did you get
it orange?
Did you get the Farfall sticker?
No,
yeah, it's the Retro Tinker guy. I got a couple of them. I thought they were stickers. You know what John said they are? He says they're actually like temporary tattoos. Ooh. So I actually have some of these. So it's the Farfall guy. That's kind of like his little logo for Retro Tinker.
I put that in my wallet. So am I going to have a tattoo somewhere?
You might have a tattoo of a guy. Yeah. You might have a tattoo of a dude on your butt.
Nice and orange. Oh,
don't worry.
And last, but you know what? I forgot one thing. So this wasn't last, but it's certainly not least. And I don't have them handy. I actually don't. They must be still in my luggage. I'm not even completely unpacked yet.
Yeah.
I picked up some decals there for my other computer is a Tandy Radio Shack Color Computer 3 decals there for Mr. Ron Dalvo.
Yes, sir.
So I'll be when I get the time, I'm going to be putting those on the side windows of my car. I think that's going to be fun. Just a matter of finding the time. Just like everything else, matter of finding the time.
Yeah.
We'll need a picture of that.
But definitely that'll be a picture for somewhere. And
you got to put it in Ron's garage.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ron's garage. There you go.
You're going to have old people come to you when you park somewhere, and they're going to say, "Do you know that Tandy leather company I used to buy?"
Yeah. Man, the panel is full today. We have
this
got
is like
21 people. We're gonna break the internet.
This is the CoCoTALK standing room only CoCoTALK.
It is. This is kind of like the CoCoFEST lobby the past weekend. It was pretty packed too. So,
there's no bacon.
We're doing a divide by zero shortly.
Yeah. Well,
it'll be too big.
one of the treats of this year's CoCoFEST was having the madman Simon Jonassen fly all the way in. Simon has joined us, and Simon showed off his demo, which we are going to be showing off again today because I don't think the demo was live streamed. So we'll be streaming Simon's demo today. Simon, can you hear us?
I can certainly hear you, my friend.
Good evening to you, Simon. You're several hours ahead of us.
Yeah, 2021.
All right. Well, welcome back. What was your what was your give us from your perspective, what was CoCoFEST like for you, Simon?
I'll tell you what, despite the jet lag, I'd definitely do it again. It was such, the ambience was, it was wicked. It was really, really wicked, And
by ambience, you mean all the beer, right?
No, that was just to keep me going for the road.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah. I mean, so many CoCos in one room, so many like-minded individuals, people across nations and stuff like that. Yeah.
Simon, you're so tall and you're so skinny.
Simon is much taller in person than he is on the internet. So I'm not used to like cricking my neck back to look up at somebody. So
for sure.
The camera always lies,
Yeah. Well, we enjoyed having you there. It was great. Some of us who've been this is my 4th year in a row, so I do get this. Luckily, we get to see some of ourselves throughout the year, but we don't get to see everybody. So it was definitely great to see you in person and the Thayer brothers and the Thayer wife too. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
When I started playing the music, that was well good.
Yeah. Paul Fiscarelli saying hi, Simon. Tim Franklin in the live chat says, Simon, nice to meet you. I was the guy who sat with you at lunch on Saturday. Rick Adams is saying hi from the hospital. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Rick.
He's not in hospital, but he's visiting someone who is. So very cool, Simon. Yeah, it was great to have you, and I'm looking forward to, for those who did not get a chance to see your demo, we'll show your demo. I will go ahead and warn the folks who are somewhat sensitive or have certain sensibilities. We will be showing the uncensored version of Simon's demo. So there will be a brief amount of female nudity, which I usually don't have a problem with myself. But for those who may or may not enjoy seeing that kind of thing, we'll warn you in advance so you can cover your eyes when we get to that part. Very cool, Simon. Thanks for being here. Alan Huffman, you were not at the fest, but you've been at many fests, and your name was mentioned because I think when Steve was hosting the show last week, he goes, one thing that's good for the people at the auction but not good for the club is that like when Alan's there, he outbids everybody, so he ends up making a lot more money for the club. But I know I've gotten into a bidding war with you in the past, so you got to see some of it live this past weekend, Alan?
Yeah, I was able to watch a lot of the streaming, the opening in the next couple of hours, and then I lost track of it. But it was very interesting being a fly on the wall, standing over at the Music Man's corner, looking at what was going on, going, "What are they doing over there? What's going over there? What does he got?"
Right.
So that was fun.
Yeah. Very cool. We talked to Jason. People are moving around. D. Bruce was not there, but you got to see some of it, right, Bruce? You got to see some of the fest.
Oh yeah, Nick and Alan and I were hanging out on that camera, spying on and saying boo to people as they walk by and scaring them. It was awesome. We'd say their name and they start looking around like, whoa.
Yeah, I guess there were times when it was muted too, because when I was watching the playback, you're like, hey, if you hear me, raise your hand. Hey, turn around. And like there were times where people couldn't hear you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't like it because when I went by, I saw my bald spot.
Join the club.
Yeah.
We need telepresence robots next year.
Yeah, that
So
would
you
be kind of cool.
Take control of a robot and wander around.
Mike Rowan was definitely at the fest, and when I get to my turn for my show and tell, I was able to get some quality Myro products. Mike, did you pick up anything else at the fest while you were there?
Oh, yes. I got some. It's always great at CoCoFEST. You find some rare stuff. In the auction, I won the Cyber Voice, the Birkenberg Cyber Voice speech synthesizer for OS 9.
Did you get the one with the manual?
It's got the manual, its original disc, and the original cartridge.
Okay. Yeah, I had been on one that disappeared today.
Yeah.
There was another one that didn't have a manual. That one disappeared. Huh. Have you tried it out at all?
No, I haven't had a chance yet.
Yeah.
Let's see. I picked up a Telepack RS-232 cartridge.
Is that the Orion Technologies one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So you don't see those very often.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I picked up a copy of the Farfall Master Edition. I got Neil's Night Lore cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
Picked up another Mini Flash. I got a Triad Plus and the Protector MMU. I also did a trade of my CD with Paul Thayer and got his Timberman. So
neat.
Got that. Yeah.
That's cool.
So that was the first time I'd met Paul. He's a good guy. I like him.
You're a really good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you must have walked away from there with a big red bag on your shoulder, like Santa Claus.
I picked up a ton of Birkenberg stuff for next to nothing in the auction, and
neat.
And some miscellaneous cartridges I didn't have. So, yeah, good time.
Good times. Yeah. Very cool. Grant Leedy got more than he bargained for this CoCoFEST. We'll talk about some of that later. But did you get anything from the exhibitors or from the auction, Greg?
Yeah, actually, I got the 2 meg upgrade, memory upgrade from Boysen Tech, Boomerang. Got the speech and sound pack in the auction.
Oh yeah, I donated that.
Got several ROM packs and books from Cloud9. So that's pretty much what I got.
Excellent.
And plus a dang ukulele. So
that's the highlight right there, the $5 ukulele.
Yeah.
I forgot I clicked up a Blue Streak too.
Serial Blue Streak Ultima.
From and also I just got an eBay acquisition too. I got a one of those monitors, Tandy monitor stands that you would put your monitor on and move it left and right and up and down. So,
well, yeah, I'm looking forward to the one that Neil Blanchard mentioned that they're working on, the retro furniture and the monitor riser type thing too. Yeah, those are neat. Those are things that at one point in time we figured we'll never need these things again, and then now it's come full circle and they're like must-have items. Cool stuff. Richard Lorbieski was planning on being there and was not able to, but did have a virtual presence. What do you have anything you want to mention about what happened at the fest, Richard? As far as you had a table, and I guess we had some people helping to represent you. Did you do okay with your presence and product sales and stuff?
Oh yeah, actually I did very, very well, and I also want to thank David Ladd, Grant, Jason, and everybody else who helped pitched in. Ron Delvaux with the signage, because this was kind of like the last minute. I just did not have the stamina to make the fest because I was just too sick at the time, and
yeah.
I'm finally, I'm much better. And on top of that, we also had no air conditioning in our house for almost 2 weeks. So, that was a lot of fun. And yeah. So yeah, no, it turned out really, really good. And again, I can't again express my appreciation, especially for David Ladd for helping, pitching in, and stepping up, helping me out. So I mean, that's
Cool.
what I think is the whole thing about community.
Sure.
It's willing to help each other to expand and continue stuff going. When one is sick and down, fill the spot and help them keep moving.
Yeah, that was great.
I appreciate
it. Also helped me
Richard's
too
booth.
because it gave me and Grant more seating room at our booth because David originally was going to be helping with our booth, so it gave us more.
Not only that, but I was able to fill my belly.
Yeah.
Get in my belly.
I appreciate it too because Richard's booth was right across from mine, so I could chat with David most all the show.
Yeah, and you had that one-on-one chat in the elevator for quite a while too.
Not talking about that. Not talking about that.
That was a captive audience.
Later.
Yeah, excellent. Well, we're sorry you weren't able to make it, but I'm glad you were able to be represented in some fashion, and hopefully you'll be able to make future events. But at the end of the day, it's your health is what's most important. You can't push yourself if you're not up to it. Excellent.
Because you got the cruise flu, and I'm glad you're feeling better.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah. So James was not there, but James was there virtually. He was watching a lot of the live streaming. I think you were also on the show Saturday. Any comments, memories, or takeaways from the fest, James Diffendeffer?
It looked like you had a full house.
We did.
Yep, Saturday especially.
Were there any numbers?
120 and change.
122.
122.
It wasn't just the number of people. It was how many tables were in there. I mean, it looked like that was all that room could hold, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good sign for people producing stuff for the CoCo. Let's see, what did I watch? I watched your jam and which was that drummer was horrible, I tell you.
Eventually Paul Thayer stepped up and fixed that problem. So
yeah, I would rather listen to the Shags than Steve.
Oh, now that's me.
No, it was really kind of cool to see what people had there, and I mean, I watched one of the walk-arounds, and then I came in and out watching who was walking by that stationary camp.
That was Brian's corner, the music man. Yeah.
Did you babes?
It was just really cool to be able to see what was going on.
Yeah.
It looked like a good time.
Yeah, and by the way, Brian Schubern, thank you for making that happen. Just having your laptop there and having that camera. Yeah. So there was a virtual presence, because I was basically saying, look, I don't want to sit here and be stuck behind a laptop and a camera all weekend like I've done in the past trying to stream everything. I was just like, screw it, I want to enjoy the fest. But you picked up, and thank you for that. So it really helped out a lot of people who could not otherwise have been there. So
yeah, that was fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
In the immortal words of Rick Adams, I'd just like to say that my soundboard's not working again. Okay, so yeah, very, very cool. Okay, so who have we not talked to? That was just James Diffendeffer that we just talked to. Have we talked to Sir David Ladd yet? Lord of the Floppies. Have we?
Not yet.
Not
yet. All right. Well, due to my limited funds this year, I didn't pick up too much, but I did get a few things from Mark Marlette. I got his 2 meg badges. I got a few of some cartridges that were the $1 ones that were, like the games that weren't great for the CoCo, so they're being sacrificed for the cases. Let's see here. I picked Brendan. I brought my cable for my CoCo 2 so Brendan could install the back plate for me. Because he's the master at installing those, so I wanted the CoCo VGA back panel installed right. So I also got a Mr. case from John Strong. I think I'm on the list for his joysticks when he comes out with those. I'm also on the list for the CoCoMem Junior, the little wedge for the sound for being used with the CoCo SDC. Let's see here. What else? I know I got some other stuff. eBay acquisitions, which I ordered after the fest, just because the fact that when I was at the fest, I was doing some EEPROM programming for a few people. So, and my EEPROM programmer was not very happy with Linux that I had. So therefore I got one in today that works with Linux, and it even works on the Raspberry Pi. Thanks, Mike Rowan, for that tip.
You're welcome.
And but yeah, the fest overall was great. And I was happy to see everyone. It's overwhelming. It's the community, the people gathering. From my standpoint, the weirdness of people knowing me that I don't know, because there were so many people that came up to Richard's booth and go, "Hello, David," and it's like, do I know you? So it's just one of those things that, it's like you just get overwhelmed with the tables, the number of people, and also I saw Gary Becker's demonstration of the Gimme X, which I guess a lot of people didn't know he was even doing.
I didn't until after.
So it was, and it's like I can't wait until that actually fully comes out, because that looks so nice. I'm sorry, I'm getting too excited. And then of course I got do some trading. I also, through Michael Brandt and Neil, going around the country. So through Neil, I got some stuff from Michael Brandt, and one of them, the others I won't talk about, but the one was a Tandy 1000. So I finally have a Tandy 1000. So I will be tinkering with that. Yes, I know it's not CoCo, but it's at least a Tandy. So
yes, it is. Yeah.
Did you get a monitor, a keyboard, now?
It's one of the all-in-one machines. So it's yes. So no monitor, but you know what? I'll try to figure out what kind of display it uses, and maybe I can try to make an adapter and use the Wallaby on it.
Yeah, I just
does it
ordered
have drive wire on it. That's the most.
It does have a serial port.
And does it have high density floppy drives?
I don't know, but at this point, I don't care.
Yeah. I just ordered for mine. I got a EGA to VGA adapter, and it's just like a 9-pin to 15-pin, coupler that goes in line, and it just lets you plug a VGA monitor into that. So you should be able to do something like that, and then do like your VGA to HDMI if you had to, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So I did get a few things. But yeah, it's I did get those a couple of Brendan's 3D printed boxes for the CoCo VGA, because I have a Dragon that's waiting to have a VGA installed, but since Richard was sick and couldn't make it, I couldn't get my VDG socketed, so my Dragon's going to have to wait. But yeah, I got the boxes because I haven't decided if I really want to drill into the case for the Dragon or not.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll decide later, because I do have 2 Dragons, so I might just, maybe just properly mount it inside. But otherwise, yeah, it's I can't think of what else I got.
You're going to tell us about your lift experience.
Well, we'll get to
Later.
that later. When we go through
That's
the photo
later in the
gallery.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I got a couple of Microsoft PS2 mice from Mark Overholzer for my mouse project. So
excellent.
Yeah, it's I got a few Tinker toys to play
Neat.
with.
Neat.
Lord, David.
Yes, Nick Marentes was there virtually. Thank you to the internet. What was your takeaway from what you saw, Nick? And you actually got a few things in the auction, but thanks to a couple of us bidding for you.
It was good. It was
we were proxies for some of the live viewers.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's obviously very hard for me to attend all the way from Australia. But yeah, having the virtual
your neighbor made it. Craig made it.
That's right. I told him, put me in your suitcase. But anyway. But yeah, thanks to Jason, who actually gave us like a virtual walk around tour of the fest several times. It kind of felt like I was sort of there. So I was virtually there. I can see all the tables and see the activity. It was the next best thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, actually, I heard your voice over in the corner there, and I come by and I figured it out looking up, down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were those two people from the Muppets, who sit up high. Bruce Moore and I were just sitting up there, cackling at everyone.
You didn't get the proper training, so
yeah.
No.
Very cool. Thank you, Nick. And Boise was there. What were some of your takeaways from last weekend?
Well, I had a great time, and I picked up some Triad Pluses and Protector Pluses. I picked up a cable from Jason that was very handy. The double CM8 video cable that was very cool. I picked up a game that Neil was selling from, I think Mark McDougall had made it. Knights of Lore was a cartridge game. And then I picked up a copy of Timberman. And I also picked up Mike's cool CD with all of the ads that go on the CoCo Group podcast. So yeah, had a good time. It was good to see everybody. And it was especially good to meet Greg Zumwalt, who was at the fest. Did not announce his presence there. He's kind of a guy that likes to fly under the radar, but a couple of people expressed the fact that they were disappointed that they didn't meet him, and I didn't know that. But yes, he was there for, I think, all of Saturday or most of Saturday. So that was the highlight of the fest for me.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. And I think Tony Pedraza has popped in once or twice. I don't know if he's here now or is he gone. Maybe he'll come back.
I can see him. He's beside Jason on the panel.
Oh, there he is. Okay, there's Tony again. I'm sorry. The videos keep moving around, so it's hard for me to keep my focus. Tony Pedraza, Vice President of Glenside Color Computer Club and the primary auctioneer. You are muted, but is there anything you'd like to say to us, or you just want to sit there and look attractive for us?
Well, thank you for the compliment. I don't have all the numbers done yet, but I do know we had over 112. Might be more like 120 people. That's a might be. I still need to finalize that count. Not all of the stubs got thrown in the hat, I'm pretty sure, but we're not missing too many this year. I would say that the fest as an activity, as a financial thing, was an unmitigated success.
Excellent.
Next year is guaranteed to be put on. There are a couple of opinions on the size of the venue. Some people want to move. Some people say, well, maybe we can reconfigure it a little bit differently. These things are going to try to be resolved by what month is it? By the June meeting, if not by the end of this month.
Oh, wow. That's soon.
Research done in the area.
Okay.
There's a committee of 4, 2 local, 2 away, that are going to be making calls and trying to follow up on suggestions. So we'll see. I'm going to take a back seat and let them run with it, and we'll see what happens. I'll still try to put together a floor plan, but
I think it worked. It worked. The exhibitor area worked out really well this year. I think all exhibitors had room to exhibit. So last year it was kind of cross-pollinated between rooms and it was a little disjointed. But this year I think it worked out really well. And as we all saw, it was pretty packed. So I mean that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it was literally standing room only in a few cases. There was a few times I was wanting to talk to somebody and I had to go around the long way because there was so many people in the aisle talking to other people that it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think maybe a larger venue might be better, even if the numbers don't change, just to have a little bit more breathing room. And I suspect because the 40th anniversary of the CoCo, we might get a few more people to come out of hiding for such an event. So,
and Mr. Huffman, yes, we are referring to you.
Yes, yeah. So that was, but I would definitely say it's a success. I mean, yeah, you could sit here and look at numbers and say, well, 100 this or 110, 120. If there were 70 people there, it didn't matter because everybody that was there because they wanted to be, and we all had a great time. And it was, honestly, one of the things that I really enjoyed about it, although I do regret I didn't get a chance to see Stephen Hirsch speak because that was the main thing I wanted to see because I like games. I wanted to see him talk about the Speed Racer game and Mitchtron and everything. So I missed that because I was so busy trying to troubleshoot my setup. But I like that there were not a whole bunch of presentations this year. We spent the majority of our time on the exhibit area and we are just hanging out. And honestly, that I enjoyed that. I really did. I mean, presentations are nice, but I don't think we need to have a ton of presentations for it to be considered a success. I think just being there and being amongst your family is a good enough reason to come out every year, you know? Family. There's Linda. Thank you for walking on my back, Linda.
Oh, you're welcome, little brother.
Yeah, we gotta start that sooner. It's gonna be our new tradition. So.
Since Alan, my boy toy isn't coming for massages anymore, I'll just walk on your back.
Okay, perfect.
Linda, you didn't walk on my back.
Honey, you never asked me to.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you was doing those services.
Oh, well, now you know. I'm going to set up a massage table next year.
Yeah.
The look on Alan's face throughout this conversation is just priceless, by the way.
Yeah. How often have you been referred to as a boy toy, Alan Huffman?
Other than Linda?
Other than Linda.
I love you, baby.
All right. Well, I think that's a good. Oh, here, I'll do mine, and I have a lot, so I'm going to give you the short. I'll give you the short version of mine, and then we'll take a break, and then we've got a ton of pictures in a photo gallery. So one of my pickups, and I'll make my screen bigger, but this is actually a Retro Innovations product, but this is from Belle Brain, Jim Brain's daughter. So she makes these kind of circuit board earrings. So I got a pair of these, and I was actually wearing them at the fest, and I've got holes in my ears that have not seen the light of day in decades, so it was kind of interesting trying to pop those things through, but I wore a couple of those. I did get a couple of these from Cloud9, the badges, and these are really, really good quality metal. They're embossed, and they look really good. I tried taking, and I bought one from Myro a couple years ago too, and I must be an idiot. I can't get the old badges off. I've tried freaking carpenter knives. I've tried screwdrivers. I can't get the old badge off. I can scrape the shit out of them and gouge my CoCo 3, but I can't get a badge out. So I've got, I'm going to need a tutorial on that, but I got that. I got a bunch of the Retro Tinker, personal tattoos. So I will not be putting any of these on any below the belt parts of my body. Unlike Ron Delvaux.
What?
I got the new John Strong analog arcade-ish style stick. It's got like real arcade buttons. It's got a much better quality analog. So this is like, I guess kind of a cross between a Black Beauty and a deluxe joystick, but just on steroids, right? So good quality parts. So that's cool. He's been talking about these on the show. He's been testing them. The cool thing about this is it's got a left and right switch. So if you want to have your joystick on the right and your buttons on your left, you can do that, or you can flip a switch Although I think didn't you have the patents on switches on CoCo products, Jason? I don't know. So, but this you could flip a switch and make it where the buttons are on the left or on the right. So that's kind of
the
cool.
left or right-handed stick, basically.
Left or right-handed stick, yeah. So that's kind of cool. I do have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In Australia.
Just I did ask on the last show. We were talking about it when he was showing those live on the camera. Held him up to that camera held up near the roof. The switch on the side, does that just flip the X and Y, or does it tip the buttons up and down as well?
Well, I guess it has to do both, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I guess it would. Assuming, I guess. I mean, that's a hardware question. It's above my head. So yeah, I would think so because you're flipping the stick over. Your axes must flip too, right?
Oh, no, I meant the actual buttons. So the red button becomes the top button. So there's just the top button swap over and become the other top button.
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't really tried it that much. I'll report back to you later, though. But
okay, cool.
So yeah, I did get
results will vary in Australia.
I did get the CoCo. Got the CoCo VGA enhanced installed into my TDP 100. Thank you to Brendan Donahue. I did get the Best of Myro collection, and so that's really good. I think I got an autograph on there too. Of course, I love games and I love cartridges, so I got all the cartridges. So I got the Knights of Lore cartridge, and I like the classic silver box too. This is very nostalgic. Tim Lindner designed these, right? So I got those. I got the new Farfall Master Edition with the sound, and then I got the Hunt the Wumpus from Evan Wright, which he also autographed for me. So that was kind of cool.
You get the butt sticker?
The butt sticker, yeah, I did that. So one of the things I got that had been holding on to for about a year, but this is a monitor stand that I think came from Ron Klein, and Greg was holding on to that for me. This is my TDP 100 with the CoCo VGA installed on it now. Now behind me back here, that's the Tandy 1000 that I bought. I can't, dude, no matter where I move my frickin' head, I can't like not see that. Anyways, so behind me here is the Tandy 1000 is on what would be the left. You can see that. On the right is an Apple IIc that I bought from somebody at the Fest last year. So these are things I bought a year ago that I wasn't able to get home. That's why I kind of drove this year. So I brought those things back. That's the main stuff. I did get a handful of things in auction. Oh, dude, I got to show you. Well, I've got pictures of it. I don't feel like dragging it out, but I got a really cool CoCo with an HJL keyboard, which was like on my wish list, my bucket list to get one of those keyboards. So I got a really nice silver CoCo one with a Rev C motherboard and the HJL keyboard installed in it. I got that in the auction.
That was a D key.
I don't remember. D E. It was one of those letters of the alphabet. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. I got that. I got a few other things. I got a.
Where you had your game running on the 1000.
Yeah, Mike. That was the whole thing. I wanted to get my Tandy game running on the Tandy 1000 because that was very surreal for me to be able to see that after 20 years on the original hardware. So that was kind of cool. Cosmic Aliens, the original version, next to the kind of work in progress version, was my exhibit. And a handful of things in the auction. So it was good, including Jolt Cola, which was good.
Did anybody end up picking up that big Apple monitor that was at the auction at the start?
It went into the free pile.
Yeah. Somebody did though, because it disappeared off of the pile.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Paul Fiscarelli is saying the badge removal requires a heat gun and dental floss. Anybody else have any insight onto removing a badge without causing permanent damage to the CoCo?
Yeah, hair dryer has worked for me. Doesn't have to be a heat gun.
David Ladd, have you got a spare hair dryer?
Stevie, I don't have hair, so how would I have a hair dryer?
Well, you have a spare lying around. You don't need it anymore, right?
It was a rhetorical question.
Yes. Okay. So we have spent almost an hour talking about what we got at the fest, and we're barely getting started talking about the fest, but that's what today's show is all about. So we're going to take a real quick break, and we're going to take a break by playing the official theme song for this year's CoCoFEST by Bruce Moore. The theme was Make the Trek, and here it is for your listening pleasure. We'll be right back, boys and girls. High production value here. Spare no expense here. Hold on. Let's try this again. Take 2. Boop.
The reading's growing stronger, Captain. Coming from a star system directly ahead.
CoCoFEST, make the trek to the place you belong. Illinois, Heron Point, make the trek. CoCoFEST. CoCoFEST, May 4th and 5th. 2019 in Lombard, Illinois. Make the trek. Touch the heron.
Fascinating. And we are back. And there's one more thing I forgot to mention that I got. There's probably more I forgot too. But for those of you who don't know, most of you, or a lot of you, are probably familiar with the Cocoa Pi project that Ron Klein has been so avidly working on. But the original Raspberry Pi Cocoa concept was from Chris Hawks from Hawksoft, who's been a member of Glenside, since, I don't know, prehistory, right? So, and Chris made this really cool thing here, which I bought one from him. But it's basically a USB to CoCo keyboard adapter. So if you've got like an extra CoCo, you got an extra keyboard floating around, you can use a real CoCo keyboard on a Raspberry Pi, or as they were telling me last night, because I think Ron was on for us a little bit last night, you can actually just plug it into a PC. So if you wanted to use a CoCo keyboard on your, because if you're on an emulator, trying to remember what key does what, sometimes you can go crazy. You need like a lookup chart and and a personal assistant sometimes to remember what key does what. So imagine plugging a real CoCo keyboard just into your computer running MAME and using the right keys. Where's the @ key? Oh, there's the @ key. It's right there. It says @ on it. So I'm looking forward to maybe doing a Raspberry Pi repack in a CoCo case with the keyboard. So that's a cool little project that Chris Hawks had, and so I got that. And by the way, is Mike Rowan still here? Yeah. So Myra, I'm glad I don't think I wrote you guys feedback, but I mentioned this, and I wanted to give you huge kudos. I mean, everybody knows what a great job you do, but I mentioned this. I go, if they did like a episode of CoCo Crew that was nothing but Myro, I would totally listen to that. And luckily now we have it. We can buy it. But your past couple of like Schoolhouse Rock things that you did with the strings and with hexadecimal, I mean, I just listened to those things and my mind was blown. It's not only in how much talent and creativity went into there, but the thinking the whole thing through. Just there's so many levels of brilliance in those Schoolhouse Rock things. So I just wanted to give you mad props for that, Myro, because you bring a lot to the table, and I appreciate it. So
thanks.
Yeah. And so I was very happy to get the Myro's greatest hits, like as if there was a worse hit from Myro, right? So the Myro's misses, right? So the hits and the misses, folks. So, so that's a little bit about the pickups. We got a lot of stuff. I'm sure we're forgetting a lot of stuff, but I think one of the things that might help shake our memory here is we've been compiling some photos and put together a bunch of pictures in the Facebook photo gallery. Of course, now I'm trying to figure out how to switch screens here. And of course, that's not the left screen, right? So let's try this again. There we go. All right, so this is a photo gallery that we could probably share with you guys, although I don't know how to share. I'm not good at sharing anyways. So this is a bunch of pictures. So I guess you guys all know this is the lovely and talented John Strong of Strongwear. I think these are mostly in chronological order, so this might have been when he first arrived. Here is Ron Delvaux touching the heron, and we can thank Boise for poisoning our minds with that when he mentioned on a CoCo Crew podcast that his tradition is like, I like to come in and touch the heron, and ever since then it's just become a thing that everybody must touch this heron, and hopefully the heron is okay with it. So so here is.
So that's a CoCo thing. That's not like a United States. You go there and you got to do that.
It's kind of, I guess, I don't know, Boise, you could tell us better.
stupid comment, offhanded comment I made one time on the CoCo Group podcast. It kind of caught fire.
Yeah,
I don't. It just it just feels like the thing to do when you walk in and see that huge statue. And this year, someone had the sense of humor to put a little bottle of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, that was Jason.
That's right. That was all right.
So here's Ron Delvaux touching the heron. This was the poster that was in the lobby. Make the trek. That got auctioned off, right? So here was the setting up. So Ron Klein got there early. He's out there setting up tables. Go Ron Klein. Talk about community member there, right? There's Brett Gordon, author of Fuzix.
He
looks surprised.
What'd you say, Ron?
He also helped with the tables.
Yeah, he was helping with the tables. I don't know who that guy is. Some schmuck. Who's that?
Just trying to wake up with some coffee after the 20-plus-hour drive.
Yeah, lots of hanging out in the lobby, which is always kind of cool. There's Greg, the internet's own Grant Leedy. Look at that smile on that boy. He's photogenic, ain't he? Just want to pinch those cheeks. There's John Mark Mobley from Glenside Color Computer Club. He's the editor of the newsletter, right?
I believe so.
Paulie Fiscarelli is there. And there's the other half of Eric Canales. So hello, Eric. This is in the lobby. There's Jason, the Coco Man Reichert. I didn't realize he's got a thing in his ear. What the hell is that? Is it like did your veterinarian put that tag in you there, Jason? What's going on?
Yeah, it was a result of a horrible accident.
It's like something you expect to see on a head of cattle. So
yeah. This is from the guy who had PCBs hanging from it.
I recognize this guy here. This is that David Ladd fella. There's David. There's William Astle, Lost Wizard from LW Asm LW Tools. For those of you who are using his products, this is the man who's brought those to us. Also did the Dungeons of Daggerath. Hey, did anybody recognize this guy here? Look at that face. Look at that face. John W. Linville.
John Linville.
Yes, and there's John and David and Grant talking in the lobby. Look there's a stack of Kit Kats from L. Curtis Boyle, Canadian Kit Kats. More lobbies, more people's in the lobbies. Hey, there's Myro. It has caught on. There he is. Here is Brendan and his daughter Morgan. Lovely young lady. They must have been just arriving. Brendan Donahue.
Just arrived, yep.
Yeah, a lot of these came from Ron Delvaux, too. I downloaded Ron's photo stick as well. Eric Canales. This was cool. This was also at Tandy Assembly. I'm losing track. Was it last year or this year? I guess it was Tandy Assembly last year, right? Because it was like around October-ish.
Yeah.
Right? So this is like a larger-than-life-size backdrop that can easily fit 12 to 14 oversized men. And it's the Dino Wars thing. So Tim Lindner made this, and it's really, really neat. I'm glad I got to saw this in person. I remember seeing the picture saying, man, I wish I could see that. So, and he was asking, he goes, what should I do like for next year? I go, well, I know this is going to sound cliche, but I would love to see Dungeons of Daggerath, and not the cover, but like inside. We've got to see like looking into the dungeon where we can all be standing inside the dungeon and stuff. And so I don't know if that suggestion will surface, but that would be really cool to see that as a backdrop. Yeah, because look at that. Ron Delvaux. Ron, what are you, about 5'2", right? So 5'2", about 120?
I set the camera up on the other side of the room and had it take it by itself.
Yeah,
so nobody around to take my picture. So
yeah, so I mean, it's a nice large backdrop.
Ron is literally dinosaur size. That's cool.
Yeah, roar. Right. Ron Delvaux roars. Roar. There's Jason the Coco Man holding up his MC10. Let's make sure we're not missing any chats here. If we're missing any live chats, let me see if my soundboard works for this.
MC10.
There we go. MC10.
MC10.
All right, and there's the MCX 128 memory board. Right. Was that your first time firing that one up, Jason?
Just briefly at home. I just got the startup screen, but this is the first time I got really to do anything with it.
Okay. This was starting to set up. That's Neil's side, right? So that was Neil's corner, Neil's Computer Services. We'll see some pictures here in a little bit. But Neil literally brought booth babes. Now, one thing I didn't realize until much later was that one of the ladies at Neil's booth was the artist who did the T-shirt. I don't think he introduced her that way, because not only did she do the T-shirt or the artwork that became the T-shirt for the show, But I was just reading the package on Knight's Lore. She did the artwork for that. So he's got a very talented friend. And I don't know that, I'm sure a lot of more people probably would have wanted to said, hey, thanks for making the Make the Trek for us, things like that. So I didn't know.
That's Amy Grimwood.
Yeah. So I didn't know till later. Maybe it's just my ignorance, but I would have liked to have said, oh, wow, great job.
Yeah, I didn't find out till after the show either myself.
Yeah. So sometimes we put 2 and 2 together too late. There's Jason the Coco Man Reichard getting his MC10 hooked up. There it is. The menu. That's very cool. A lot of the stuff is just early on. Ryan, why did you record? Why did you take the picture of the urinal, Ron? I don't remember. Was it so we could do a core dump later on?
Because nobody does it.
Oh, yeah. Wrong button. Let's see if this is the right button here. There we go. Get that crap out of there.
So is that an unusual object in your area?
Did you win that in the auction?
Just nobody takes it.
Yeah, that's Randy. So this is the Glenside table. On the other side, so there's Randy Weaver, Tony Pedraza. That's the back of Brian Goers. Is that Wally or that's Rich Blair? Rich Blair. It's kind of hard to tell there. There's Linda. I remember when I first saw Brian, I didn't have my glasses on. I kind of leaned my head over my shoulder when he walked in. I go, "Hey, how you doing, Gary Becker?" He's like, "I'm not Gary Becker." I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't tell."
Then you said he was Gary Becker's stunt
double. And then I'm like, you might as well be a stunt double because you guys. There's Carl. Carl was there this year. All right, so whose setup is this here?
That's Eric's.
That's Eric's because there's the camera. That's neat. I do have something to show off too that is an exclusive, but Eric took some really cool Polaroids of people and then did some high resolution capturing of those Polaroids. I have those to show off. So he had his camera. He had a TRS-80 Model 4. He had a laser disc player. Cool stuff going on there with Eric Canales. This is Brian Schubing, right? Yeah. Okay. Brian set up for all of his music stuff. There is the music man himself making lots of sounds, right? Getting set up. This was early in the show. We're all getting set up. Windows 95. Is that running on OS 9 in emulation mode?
Yeah, it was actually. Literally.
Or is that the OS 9 boot screen that said Windows 95?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what it was? Okay. I don't know who that schmuck is. There's John Strong of Strongware. There's Eric Canales. And that was my first round of starting to set up my computer. It got better over time. Brendan Donahue. Looking good. This was on Chris Hawk's table. Now, unfortunately, I think this was the Raspberry Pi one. You can't tell because it's in a CoCo case. So this could be a real CoCo or it could be the Raspberry Pi. I'm not sure. But with his repack, you kind of just don't know. So this one might actually be the Raspberry Pi. For all I know, there's Chris Hawk setting some stuff up. And his wife. This was Rick Adams' table here with his Joel, his son's the bomb threat.
Quick break. If you look in the cartridge port of Chris Hawk's box, you can see the Raspberry Pi.
Well, from this angle, can you see it?
No. There's a picture later.
That is what it is, though.
That is what it is. Okay, because he's got the little chart for the keyboard on here, too. Okay.
There's another picture later.
Yeah, okay. From this angle, I couldn't tell. Okay. There's Rick Adams in front of the Dino Wars thing. Rick Adams, legendary game designer. Here's the MC10 and the aftermarket MC10 / doorstop. Right, Jason? Was that your?
Right. That was my little joke, and that was before I got my case for my MCX 128. That would have been setup day, I bet.
Yes.
It's like a really big doorstop too.
Yeah. So here, Rick Adams has been doing this stuff with the LED lighting that he controls through a Raspberry Pi, which is always pretty cool. So this one was saying, "Make the trek to CoCoFEST." Scrolling through there, he made the signs and made the LEDs. He did this for the first Tandy assembly that he attended. Was the first time we saw this display. But he has these things in his house too, where he does like holiday decorations. It's really cool stuff. This was, I'm not sure who was doing the switcheroo. Is this you, Jason?
That's my booth there. Yep, that's a switcheroo with bomb threat.
There you go, bomb threat. What on earth is this? We got switch boxes and floppies, and we got things plugged into things. I am jealous on the clear CoCo SDC case, so I'm not sure whose setup that is, though.
I think that was a fellow right next to me, but I don't.
Oh, that might have been
guy with the white beard.
Yeah. Richard Crislip.
That's it.
Richard Crislip. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I mean this is a guy who uses his CoCo. He's got stuff hooked into stuff with switching boxes to get more stuff hooked up to stuff, right? So that's a CoCo. That's a real genuine CoCo setup right there, right? So I don't know this guy. Anybody know this guy?
I think it's a Commodore guy.
Trolley McTrollface, I think's his name.
Yeah, Trolley McTrollface.
Didn't look real happy to be on that camera.
Yeah, Jim Brain from There's Paulie working on something there. Paul Fiscarelli. That's Paul's little logo for his little floppy disk Explorer program, I think, right? What else we got? This was Neil's table. So Neil actually had a handful of CoCo SDCs with cases. Number of cartridges. Jim O'Keefe's Plateau of the Past. The Sega Joypad adapter. A bunch of Best of Myro stuff. Good stuff there, Neil. Booth Babes as well, so that was good. This is Boise's CoCo call for papers. I didn't get to see it, but I've got it recorded, so I hope to be able to replay it later. I was starting to get a really bad cough in my throat, so I did not want to, pollute the room with my noise, so I left the room. But I left the camera rolling, so I hope to be able to watch this later.
Hey, isn't that the soldering iron thing that showed up later?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was part of a bundle or something. How did the call for papers go, Boise? Were you happy with the presentations and everything?
Well, yeah, it more than doubled from the participation last year. So from that point of view, it was a success, and some good information, some good papers out there, and it has momentum now. So hopefully we can get even more next year.
Okay, very cool.
You see that long board there? Boise, give me that sound card.
Yeah, Ron, that was a sound card, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No creative.
Okay. Very cool.
Looks like Sound Blaster 32.
Okay. Bunch of weirdos from the community. There is Mark Marlette of Cloud9 Technologies.
He's showing me how a puppet works.
Yeah, showing you how to use
what I thought it was. Yeah, it's a hand sock puppet. Yeah.
It's how to use a sock puppet without the sock. So for those of you who can't... And there's Mark and Sandy Weimer. And there is... Okay, that's Brendan. That's probably my computer right there. That was the first one that he worked on. So that's Brendan Donahue and his daughter Morgan doing some CoCo VGA upgrades. This was a cool project. That he actually did a presentation on, and there was a
BBC computer in there.
Yeah, and then there's another thing. This was me taking a picture of somebody. This thing here, this was kind of like a Wiimote, where it's like a gyroscopic motion sensitive thing, and they had it hooked up to a program where as you move this thing around, it was like updating a kaleidoscope on the screen and semi-graphics on the CoCo. So that was a really cool project to tie in, hardware and software. That was kind of cool. Here's the CoCo VGA table. He was pretty busy most of the weekend. And by the way, I've got it hooked up. I love it. I don't know how we've lived without this for 30 years. I wish we had CoCo VGA back in 1980. You know what I mean? It's like, it's amazing how clean it is.
And that's even before all the extra features he's had.
Yeah. I don't know who
they
this
didn't
guy
develop
is.
VGA until 86, 87.
Well, he was ahead of his time. So future proofing, right? So Curtis Boyle, there's somebody's table. That was... What does that say? Location 23, CoCo Pi 3. So this was where Ron Klein was going to set up.
Yep.
I was surprised I was able to read that, actually. That's pretty good. This is the non-Steve Bjork version of Zaxxon for the TRS-80, which actually looks really good. I was surprised how good that Zaxxon looked for the resolution it was running at. Rick Adams. Let's see if we can get this working now.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
There we go. We got Rick Adams. We got a Bear monitor there. Hey, there's Steve and Rick. And there's Jason taking a picture of me taking a picture of something. And Jason taking a picture of something else. I think you were zooming for us, right?
Right,
Who had the trackball?
Brian Weisler brought that by because at first we didn't have enough mice for the Ease of Use booth for both.
Okay. So this was getting ease. How did Ease of Use? Did people come out and talk to you about it and play with it and stuff? Did you get good feedback?
Like you were mentioning before, the fact we didn't have as many seminars, I actually stayed at the booth and actually did visit, and I had some really nice long talks with probably about half a dozen people. So that was a moment for me.
And also making a presence at CoCoFEST was
Nick Marotta.
There he is. Nick Marotta was at CoCoFEST.
Virtually yours.
Virtually. That's actually the wallpaper on my phone. So whenever I need to smile, I just turn it on and look at that picture. That's
Wow, what a tribute.
I'm touched and concerned.
You look very professional there.
Yeah,
Steve.
Heck, why would you be concerned about Steve?
Oh, I have
okay, ladies and gentlemen, creepy David Ladd just entered the room. So yeah, here's some early set. Okay, this is the CoCo 3 FPGA, the first of its kind of a hardware replacement for the CoCo. This is Gary Becker's project, which I learn a little bit more about each year when I see it. It's a neat little project. It's been around for quite some time. It's evolved over time. Cool stuff. And Gary Becker, who has experience with FPGA emulations of a CoCo 3, I believe he's also the one who's helping Ed Snyder, right?
Yep,
with the Gimme X. Yeah, he's the Becker port was named after Gary Becker, right? So you got a serial port, you got a cassette port, and you got a Becker port. You just got to look for it in the back of your CoCo. It's there somewhere. So this must be the CoCo Pi, Retro Pi, Raspberry Pi thing right there. That's Chris Hawk's ones, though, right? So there's your HDMI out. Here's one of many pictures in front of the backdrop. As I mentioned, we can get lots of full-grown men in front of this thing. It was huge, right? So
that looks so big there.
Yeah, no. So in the back row, we got Paul Fiscarelli, Jason Reichard, there's Ron Delvaux, there's Grant Leedy, here is Eric Canales, Curtis Boyle, myself in the center, Brendan Donahue, and Brian Weisler were in this picture here. So there's Jim O'Keefe. He likes floppies.
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy. He also has been making a lot of the T-shirts that we've had for CoCoFEST and for Tandy Assembly. So he makes the really cool T-shirts. So this guy's hanging out in the lobby. There's that guy playing Daggerath like that idiot in the book, Tim Lindner there. Boise in the background.
What did he say about that? That he never did it?
He didn't remember. And there's the back of Grant and John. There's the side of Jason, and there's me. I got a lot of theirs. There's Neil Blanchard, part of the CoCo Crew podcast. Jason, this was this where was this? Was this our dinner?
Fire and Wine.
Yeah, Fire and Wine. And Curtis Boyle. This is the boys having dinner. Polly Fiscarelli. Lots of food being had. Right, that looks good. Pizzas. Let's go back. I'm clicking too quickly here. Okay, that looks like Tim Lindner looking at something. There's Brett having a beer. Here's Eric. There's guys in the background. There's George. George is there. John Strong. More guys. There's Gary Becker, Gary's friend, his guy who works with Gary. His name was Dwayne.
I think so.
Yeah, so he works with Gary Becker. He was there. There's Paulie and Jason. Dwayne was there all weekend. There's you want to talk about this product here? Is this a new CoComan.biz product?
That's the $5 ukulele.
Does it have a switch or an Australian name on it?
No, but it does. It does have 4 strings.
There's Morgan touching the heron, so you can see the tradition is catching on. There's our sign. More guys in the lobby. More dinner pictures. More lobby pictures. That is Scott Wendt. W-E-N-D-T. There's the back of Mikey's head.
Known as Malfunct.
I see Brett.
Malfunct. Brett Gordon. This guy here in the back, he introduced his name. I'm drawing a blank right now. The guy next to Brett in the back there.
That was a guy wearing the shirt that said like /sarcasm.
Yeah, something like that. There's Ron Delvaux, John Strong. This is all in the lobby. There's Mark Overholzer. Are you just arriving?
Yep.
And he never leaves home without his miner's helmet on, does he?
And you got in, what, about 5:30 in the morning or something?
Yeah, I landed at like 5:05 Saturday morning.
Wow. Randy Weaver. Randy makes the Tandy List website, right, to help some of the automatic registrations and databases and stuff. There is the T-shirt from the 25th. Jim O'Keefe made that T-shirt. Is that you wearing that shirt, Curtis?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. CoCoTALK mug. There is Mark Marlette, Sandy Weimer, Cloud9 Technologies. There we go. We know memory. So there is our memory boards. Lots of cartridges. If you were needing to catch up on some CoCo cartridges, Cloud9's got a couple. 2, 3, right?
Yeah, I picked up some there. Well, between myself and I think David bought a bunch of the dollar ones.
Yeah. Now, he talked about this last year. This was the mechanical keyboard replacement, like a membrane replacement for CoCo 3 keyboards. I don't know if he's given us an update to when that's going to be ready.
I can tell you, I talked to him about it, and he said he's got about a month of work to do on it.
Okay.
And he's going to possibly have something by the next CoCoFEST.
Okay. Very cool. I know that was a lot of people had good interest in that. So even if your Mylar isn't bad, just to have updated clicky feedback on your keyboard would be a nice thing, right?
Yeah, those are.
That's Henry Reitveld and his son, and Henry took these are what they call the arcade one-up machines. You buy these things at Walmart for like $300, and they have like a half a dozen arcade games built into them. But you can hack them and turn them into MAME cabinets pretty easily. So he turned his into a MAME cabinet. He had CoCo running on VCC and stuff, so he was playing a lot of different CoCo games on a custom arcade cabinet thing. He made his own joystick to it and stuff like that. So that was a pretty cool little project.
I'm disappointed because I kept trying to go to try that out because they had the real joysticks and arcade buttons on it, but it was always busy. And then on Sunday, he shut it down early, so I never did get a chance to try it.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat. Matter of fact, one of the games he pulled up was one that Terry Steen had made that he forgot he made or didn't have a copy of. So there was something that Terry Steen, who was there, who had sent off the T&D software or something like that, was on his collection. So Terry got to saw a game from like his childhood that he didn't know.
Yeah, he said he wrote it when he was 17 or something.
Yeah, that didn't even exist anymore. So that's kind of cool. That is Ron Klein working on some Cocoa Pie stuff. And yeah, so this is the cool artwork that Ron Delvaux did for the Cocoa Pie menu kind of overlay screen. So that's kind of cool. This has got to be the CoCo 3 FPGA, right? Because you got kind of like the scan lines. I know there's like lots of effects you can turn on with that. Yeah, Cyclone CoCo video test. Yeah, that looks really cool. Boise and Ron Klein talking. And hey, Tony Pedraza, I recognize that face. All right. Is this was this Jim Brain's setup of his?
That's my Cocoa Pie playing the CoCo music.
Ah, okay. Because I know Jim Blaine was doing like some type of media player. More of that. There's some stuff, right? There's some people standing around there. More people standing around. Yeah, Jim Brain and his daughter Belle were there. The back of people. We should probably get rid of some of these pictures that show nothing but somebody's butt, right? Maybe clean up this photo album a little bit. Here's Retro Innovations and some of his little product leaflets on some of his different things he's got. He was also playing a media player for his work in progress. This is the CoCo SDC extender that will add a sound chip and a real-time clock. So for those who want all the benefits of a CoCo SDC without any of the hassle of a multi-pack interface, this is going to answer those prayers. So that's cool. And he was playing some media files on that sound chip there. So that's kind of cool to see that.
That was a big monitor, too.
Making progress. Here is Neil Blanchard's Internal Affairs BBS being accessed. Was that being on RetroPie, or is that what was that pulled up on?
Yeah.
RetroPie?
No, on the brick there. The
on the Mist thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's running Roger Taylor's CoCo ANSI BBS program.
Correct.
Neat.
NetMate.
NetMate. Okay. Well, that ANSI looks really good.
Yeah, we've got two really decent ANSI displaying ones. We have Sockmaster's original Twilight Term written in the 90s, and now Roger's been his new one, so it's cool.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good, and the artwork looks really good on there. There's the madman himself, Simon Jonassen, in the flesh. And there's Paul Thayer, part of the Thayer brothers. He was there. There's a computer. There's more computers. There's Farfall, the new and improved Farfall.
And his arcade stick.
This was John Linville's media player playing Star Wars. And it's hard to believe when you watch this, because I pulled up the YouTube video not too long ago. It was about 10 years ago when he first...
Yeah, about that.
But if you think about it, it's impressive by any standards. But the fact that this was done 10 years ago and to do streaming video on a CoCo, it's pretty impressive. The fact that it can be done and that it was done. I know Ron Klein is showing some interest in this, so I think Ron's going to be picking this up and maybe, bringing it forward. So it'd be kind of cool to see more video content in the future. That's Tim Thayer's wife. I don't remember her name, but she's a lovely woman, great singer. She was singing Two Broken Arms. Don't know how that happened. Curtis Boyle, smiling for some unknown reason. There he is. This is... Greg Zumwalt, and I think Boise mentioned this was the moment when he first met him in person. So this was Greg and his wife.
Yeah, Stephen Hirsch on the right there too. The
Stephen
authors.
Hirsch on the right, which the whole time he was there, I didn't know that he was the guy who did the presentation because I missed the presentation, and I was just so out of it that I didn't really say hi to him too much. But so I
this is a
regret.
random picture because I didn't know who they were either. I just took
Yeah, yeah. So good job, Ron Delvaux, just snapping that random pic right there, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Good. How do we get out of here? Okay, so I don't know what the hell that is. That's a CoCo. You ever seen one of those before? Ron's Garage website. Shameful plug right there on the CoCo Facebook group, the Ron's Garage Facebook group. Mark Overholzer looking seriously further into the future with those goggles he's got on there.
Looking all the way to Australia.
Yeah. Blurry picture. There he is. There's Stephen. So this was his presentation that I missed. But this is a guy who worked for Mitchtron and did a number of games, one of them being Speed Racer. He was our keynote speaker.
Yeah,
so
and he
that's
coded the
Stephen
whole
Hirsch.
thing in ML. He didn't use an assembler. That just blows my mind.
Wow.
Wow.
I took pictures of some of his notes that he had on the screen.
Hold my beer while I make this game, right? So,
Hey, Steve, did anyone record that?
we
talk?
did. I did not. So I don't know if anybody did because I was like
It was a fantastic talk.
I know.
Fantastic.
We're trying to see if we can't get a hold of him again to get something recorded with his slideshows and everything else like that. So, yeah, because it definitely needs to be recorded for posterity. So yeah, it looks like it was a good presentation that I missed. So let's go through the history of arcade games, and I guess he was also in Hot Cocoa.
He did a Frogger.
Yeah,
That is what I talked about. Where I got one issue and missed the next one, so I typed half of it in.
Okay.
I was so mad.
Okay, so for those who understand assembly or some of the processes, I guess this here is where he's explaining how many machine language instruction cycles it takes to do things or something like that, right?
Those to do the 3D calculations for the racetrack and Speed Racer.
Oh, okay. Wow. And so it kind of broke that down, showing off some of the contemporary games in the arcade like Turbo and Pole Position, where Speed Racer definitely is kind of a pole position.
Actually, that was his contesting my website, and actually I have to fix that yet. But he's actually based it more on Turbo, like the fact you have to pass so many cars and you have that little bar on the top. He said he was based more on Turbo than pole position.
Oh, okay. But as far visually, the comparison that you draw visually is more of a Speed Racer. I mean, more
because
of
the track
pole
moves
position
around sideways, whereas Turbo
looking. Yeah. Okay.
Straight,
Well, that's interesting. It's good to hear it firsthand, right?
Yeah.
So that was his son wearing his shirt from Mitchtron.
Yep.
So that was
That
kind
he
of cool.
wore back in the day. Yep.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's a throwback. There we go. Ron Klein on the Cocoa Pie. This is the Thomas
Errata.
Cherry Holmes project, Errata Online. And is this running on Phuzix on the Cocoa Pie?
I think
Nope, that's running on Disk Basic, I think.
Okay,
He doesn't have
so-
a Phuzix version, but Brett did the.
I thought Brett did a Phuzix version. I thought that was the first one we had because I remember seeing that one.
No, I think it's just Disk Basic, isn't it?
Oh, is it just?
Yeah, I believe
Disk
it's
Basic?
just basic. He took the original C64 code and compiled it.
Okay, very cool. There's Farfall and Jason, and this was your Pac-Man on the MC10 with the aftermarket MC10 next to it.
Correct.
Yeah. And more MC10 footage. More MC10 footage than should be allowed by law.
MC10 coverage from all angles.
Yes.
Only
Max,
here.
Max Jackson.
Yeah, that's when I first saw him. Hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah, that's Morgan. That's Brendan Donaghy's daughter. That's that little kaleidoscope program that they made to go with that little hardware dongle doohickey. Now, she's made a game for the CoCo VGA that's pretty cool, too. So I tried it out, and I looked at that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the progress on the game that she made. That's pretty cool. I think she's like 11, and she's been programming on the CoCo for like 2 years now. That's pretty impressive, starting younger than I did. This is a good view. You guys were saying it looked like it was packed. It looked like there were a lot of tables. I mean, there definitely was. So here's like from the opposite corner from where the live streaming cam was. You can kind of see the room pretty good here. A lot of tables. And when you had people on both sides, you were basically trying to squeeze through butt cheeks the whole time. It was just like butt sandwiches trying to get up and down these aisles here because you had people looking on both sides of the table. So, I mean, it's a good problem to have when you pack a room that much. Or the fire marshal might not agree.
Yeah, I did not take that picture.
Yeah. So so there's Speed Racer running on that emulator cabinet. That's pretty cool. And Bomb Squad. So John Strong's with his different 3D cases and other offerings. I got his joystick, which is pretty cool. This looks like Neil's table again. And there's Rick Adams, and Rick Adams, Rick Adams. Rick Adams, more Rick Adams.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
And even more Rick Adams.
And the maximum amount of Rick Adams allowed by law.
Jason Reichert. There's Nick Marenti's game right there. There we go. The switcheroo.
I've had the MC10 Space Invaders going, so I put Nick's Space Invaders clone on the CoCo.
Yeah, a lot of pictures. Here's the Gimme X. So the Gimme X was here in person. There's one of the pictures of the Gimme X. Wasn't a big sign. There weren't any babes there letting us know the Gimme X was there, but it was there. And there it is. Here's a slightly closer picture of the Gimme X. And then there's the camera. There's Popstar Pilot. There's Max playing my CoCo version of Cosmic Aliens. It was kind of nice seeing some people play on my games and just get some feedback from that. That was pretty cool. I bought this Tandy 1000 from somebody in Chicago. I think his name was Stu. And he had an auction. He goes, I'm going to sell it, but it's local pickup only. I won the auction. I reached out to the Glenside Facebook group saying, hey, can anybody grab this CoCo for me? And it turned out to be Evan Wright grabbed it. I was hoping to get it at either Tandy Assembly and or VCF Midwest last year that I couldn't make it to. So Evan's been holding on to this thing for me for a year. So this was the first time I saw it. So it was kind of nice to finally get it.
1000.
Tandy 1000.
You had to fix the floppy drive on it.
Yeah, I had to spend a half a day troubleshooting getting floppy issues fixed. David Ladd did not come to my rescue, so it took me much longer. But I got it working, and I got my game in there and got it running. So that was nice.
That's a good-looking machine.
It's a great-looking machine, and for the price I paid for it, I can't complain. A lot of people hanging out here. Just a great event. There's Jim Brain's daughter. There is the Ease of Use. Showing up on two different screens here, the 6809 versus the 6309 versions. There was Boyson text table.
That's a sign I made for him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
And computers and people and stuff and more people and more. There's Mikey. Hey, he likes it. It's Mikey. There's Ron's Garage. There's David Ladd.
David Ladd.
All right, there's David. There it is. Now, this is the angle where you can see the USB hub in the RetroPie CoCo thing that Chris Hawk had. So that looks good. There's Max Jackson. We got lots of pictures. That was some of the live streaming taking place. There's more of the madman, Simon Jonassen. This was kind of cute, seeing that typewriter with the Tandy badge on it. It almost looks like I'm not saying it's a CoCo project, but it could be, right? So it's
about a red key.
It's got about as much processing power as an MC10 on there, so it's.
I went by and Eric had a piece of paper he was jamming in there, trying to get it to work.
There's John W. Linville was at CoCoFEST. There it is again. There's the Zaxxon. There's the Laserdisc setup. That was cool. There's Farfall. There's Evan Wright, author of Flood It for the Color Computer and now Hunt the Wumpus and his adventure game Converter. There's some of Simon's demo, which we will see here in a little bit. This is Knight's Lore, one of the newer cartridges for the CoCo 3. That's the Tim Lindner reproduction boxes. Here's a variety of cables that Neil had. I think some of these cables were the CoCo to Dragon converter, so the 5-pin to 6-pin or whatever the numbers swap out was. I think that's what some of those. There's your Sega Joypad adapter. I've got one of those.
Those were boxes you could fold up.
Yeah, do it yourself. There's Simon again. There's some of Simon's. Here's Ron Delvaux with Uranus going on there, so that looks good. There's a CoCo Tandy phone right there.
That's my phone that wouldn't change that for 5 hours.
Okay, so lots of people. There's some of the auction. There's our auctioneer, Tony Pedraza, auctioning off lots of good CoCo wares. More of Simon's demo. There is Jason Downs and his wife. What was this guy's last name? And I didn't realize that was father and son. They look like they're brothers. I mean, this guy doesn't look like he's old enough to have a 20-something-year-old son. His last name, Tunason. Tunason was the last name.
Yeah.
Tunason. Okay. Yeah, because I remember we were calling them off on the auction many, many times. So one of them was, Tunason was the last name.
Great shirt.
Yeah, great shirt. I wish I could zoom in on that a little bit, but maybe we'll see some more
pictures. It's Jeff Tunason, I'm pretty sure.
Jeff Tunason, and this one is Vincent Tunason. So Jeff and Vincent Tunason were there. There's Ron Klein. Have you got your latest CoCo crew yet? That almost sounds like this here.
Hey, you got your CoCo 3 yet?
You got your CoCo crew yet? There we go. Here's some. This was some more auctioning. There's Brian Weasler. There's some food. There's some more food. That dinner was good. There's Myro in the back there with Ron Klein and John Linville. This is Craig Stewart, Nick's neighbor. Good day.
Author of Space Ambush, amongst
Space Marauder.
Space Marauder, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Great guy to talk to. Now, she would not stay out so I could take her picture.
Yeah, there's George. This is some of our musical jam. Curtis jamming. There's that's Paul Thayer, and Tim Thayer was also playing the guitar and singing. Good times. Brian the Music Man, live streaming, computers, keyboards. Greg. Let's get to some of the good stuff, though, because there's something good coming up here that we really got to get to. This people after people. You're starting to see a lot of the same faces, although you can't get enough of this one right here. Yeah.
David Ladd.
Yeah, so that's going to be my next wallpaper. So when I'm done looking at Nick Marotta all day, I'll have the David Ladd wallpaper up there.
That should be David's Doom profile picture.
I don't remember.
Casually in the background.
What's this guy's name again? He does a lot of auction bidding too. He does artwork and stuff too. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, he's into all kinds of retro too. Like it's not just CoCo. He does everything.
Now the guy in the back here, Tony. This is a relative of yours. The guy in the black T-shirt way back here. I don't know if Tony can see it that well. All the way in the top, almost center. That's the guy I bought the Apple II from last year. I thought he was related to you somehow. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that would be Dan Chin.
Okay.
Yeah, Foster's son, so to speak.
Okay, Foster's son. Okay, there you go. CoCo SDC. I would really love to have one of those original cases. Those look really cool. Boomerang boards from Richard.
I have one for you.
You have a clear case?
Yeah, I just need to find it. It's missing.
Okay. Here's Mark Marlette doing many upgrades and repairs all weekend long.
He's got the solder sucker there.
Oh yeah. Here's my game. I finally got my game up and running on a floppy. I had to get it ingested into the computer, but we got it up and running. So this was like 20 years in the making, being able to see this game on this machine again after all this time. So I know I spent way too much time doing it, but I was so hell bent to get it going that I'm glad I finally did.
I pushed the space bar.
Yeah, and I love this is the Tandy CM4 monitor. I mean, it looks pretty good for a CRT. You know, you can't complain too much. There's Tim Thayer, Paul Thayer's brother. Great singer, great guitar player, really talented guys. This was a beer that Simon was drinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then he turned it over.
Yeah. You're right. More CoCos, more things. There's Tony. There's a CoCo SDC. Here's more CoCo stuff. But we need to get to something good here, because there were a couple of things that happened this year that have not happened at all of the fests. One of them I don't think we have pictures of, but we could talk about. Terry Steen. That is Morgan, and this is her game. This is her game on the CoCo VGA. Very cool thing. So Terry Steen, author of Balloon Fire and many other games for the color computer, he had an incident on his way in where apparently he hit a love seat on the way in and basically totaled his car on the way to CoCoFEST, and yet still managed to make it there. He just got his car taken somewhere and got a rental car and still continued the trek and got to the fest. So when you talk about dedication, right? So you're driving in, all of a sudden you hit a large piece of furniture, you destroy your automobile, and
you still go.
A weaker person would have said, that's a sign for me just to turn around and go home. But a dedicated CoCoFEST attendee says, there is nothing going to hold me back, and Terry Steen made it to the event, and he was there the whole time. Now, in the lobby, there are these things that are called elevators. And these elevators usually go up and down, and we usually take the elevator down to get to the basement where things are. So that's kind of what those elevators look like. And then along the way, we got all kinds of pictures.
Our pictures when everybody was gone. There's not.
Yeah. So that's the quiet after the storm, right? So this is what the room looks like when nobody's here. Oh, so yeah, I've got some of these that we'll show off too. These are the Polaroids that Eric took and got lots of autographs for. This is some of Jim Brain's products here. So this is the CoCo Proc. This has a 6809 and a 6309. So if you want,
that's a different one. This is the one that has dual 4 megahertz 6309s, its own RAM and stuff, and then you can actually plug it in as co-processors with the main CoCo.
His got too many products. I can't keep up with him. All right, so dual 6309s.
Yep.
All right, that's insane. All right, CoCo Duino. an Arduino interface for the Tandy CoCo 1, 2, and 3 in Dragon. Okay.
I think Boise had a hand with that.
Okay.
There's the extender.
This is a close-up of the extender that would go inside a cartridge. And that would give you, basically, it's a pass-through that would give you a sound chip and a real-time clock. Because apparently we have to have both of those. He's got memory in here. He's got his keyboard. He's got all kinds of things. More retro innovations, products. He's just got products after products. He's got the CoCo Quad Link that has 4 serial ports on it. That's pretty cool. He mentioned that a year or two ago. He talked about that too. The Chameleon Cart. This has got flexible multifunctional cartridge system for Tandy Color computer. It has a Yamaha stereo chip, 512 circuit ROM and RAM and flash, a real-time clock. What more do you need in a cartridge? I don't know. It slices, it dices, it juliennes. There's Greg, there's Jason. A couple of guys. There's some more guys. This guy came last year. I wish I could remember his name. Thomas.
Yeah, it was Thomas something. He actually came and talked to me at the Ease of Use booth for about
Thomas
an hour and a half.
Heron. Yeah, so last year he was kind of new, and he was asking a lot of questions. He had a notebook even. He was just asking away.
He had a notebook this year too.
Yeah, so he's a sponge, and he's like I guess he's into computer science because he was saying he wrote his own kind of little mini compiler to do things and stuff. So he's really interested in what we're doing on the CoCo. And
you mean he's a sponge like SquarePants?
A sponge like Look at now. Speaking of Diet Dr. Pepper, David Ladd was gifted many bottles of Diet Dr. Pepper.
He's guarding it very carefully so no one steals.
Yes, he is. Look, he's smiling at that. Diet Dr. Pepper makes David a happy guy.
Right? Asset tracking tags.
Yes, yes. So there's that guy who's playing that game like that idiot in the book. More people just hanging out. Real-time clock, Jim Brain, David Ladd, Ron Delvaux, all kinds of people. I want to get to the good stuff. Unfortunately, I don't. There's Craig Stewart, creator of Space Marauder and other games for the color computer. 1, 2, and 3. Here's some of Ron Delvaux's many pictures where he takes the high color pictures thing that Sockmaster made and he puts stuff on the CoCo. There's Simon. There's Paul. There's Paul. It almost seems like I'm going. There's Jason Downs and his wife. More pictures. There's me. There's me. And there's Evan. There's me. And there's who? There's a camera. Let's get to the juice.gs. This is a publication for the Apple. So was this you referencing this to maybe get some ideas for the new Rainbow?
Yeah, Marco was showing me.
Yeah. There's CoCo Pie. I wish I knew what order these pictures were in. William Tell Overture, pictures of people we've already seen. Let's move on to the good stuff. John Linville. Right now, it looks like John Mark's falling asleep here. All right, so me and Simon and yeah, okay. Here's some more of these. I got some close-up pictures of these Polaroids. They came out really good with that. Yeah, this was a cool project for the Apple, that Alien Downpour, right? So,
yep, and also OID Zone.
And there's me touching the heron.
And the sanitizer.
Salvador Garcia and George and people. Now this, I don't remember his name, but he was he was one of the former treasurers. Tony mentioned this. He's like 98 years old. Tony, who was the guy who we sang Happy Birthday to?
Yes.
Do you remember?
George Sneewise.
George Sneewise or Sneewise?
Sneewise.
Sneewise. Okay, so they were celebrating he was celebrating his 98th birthday, so that was kind of cool for him to be there. I didn't even see this, but everybody like writing all the names there. I'm glad somebody got a picture of it. That's kind of cool. More auctioning. Us at the auction. People who won some door prizes. Some guys wearing some really nice shirts there. That's Paul Scott Wendt and Paul Fiscarelli, Brendan, Craig, guys, girls, ladies, wives, husbands, friends. They're all here. This is all on Facebook, by the way, for those of you who are not afraid of social media. It's out there. Gimme X, John Strong, people, Gary Becker and Brett and Brendan. So we're just smiling. It's all smiles. It's all good times. It's all fun and games.
This is all third day stuff.
It's third day stuff. It is all fun and games until sometimes tragedy strikes, and I'm waiting for that. I'm just trying to get here. Here we go. So yes, it's all fun and games. So far, we've had a great weekend. It's all smiles, it's hugs, it's feels, it's touchy-feely, it's kumbaya.
This is actually at closing on Sunday. We're just starting
so
to upload the car.
Closing on Sunday, and all of a sudden we have...
Stuck in the elevator, gotta get home from the CoCoFEST. Stuck in the elevator,
We're still not there. Holy crap. Oh, look at that. Look at that face. That is not a happy face right there.
What are you guys doing in there?
We got the fire trucks are coming out here.
The bouncy castle. Playing bouncy castle in there.
You're elevatoring wrong.
Oh, Mikey.
Mikey has joined us. Yes.
I only have a couple minutes.
Well, you're here
Where's
just in
the
time for
airport?
the elevator segment.
Yes. Well,
good timing.
Who's the only one that could climb out of there?
It's
We've even got the elevator music. That's really
it's,
good.
Yeah, it's all fun and games until somebody gets stuck in an elevator, right? So here's L. Curtis Boyle.
Curtis is the only one that could climb out of there.
Yeah.
Unassisted.
Excuse me, I got out too.
You didn't need the ladder?
Nope. Well, he did push off with a handrail, but yeah, he made it out unassisted also.
All right.
Yeah. So Ken's ranking, is that Bruce on the vocals? Yeah, that is Bruce. That was the Bruce Moore production that he threw together for us rather quickly too. So good job to Bruce.
Really well done.
So here we are. This is classic. Just looking at these, and of course, you got people in distress. So what does everybody do? Well, let's get out our phones and let's take pictures of our friends that's stuck in a hole.
When
right?
they first opened the door, there was a wall of flashes as all the camera phones were going off, capturing this moment.
I mean, up until now, they've said that PenFest 2000 was the most photographed and recorded event in CoCo history, but I think the elevator incident now is probably going to have a lot more.
That record has been broken. Just nothing else.
There are
just
so
nothing
many
else that, back then you couldn't have that many rolls of film. we have reached a point in technology where we can exceed PenFest 2000 pictures.
And we got
that particular elevator was controlled by a Commodore 64.
Yes, there he is. It's
David Ladd.
And David Ladd is no longer.
I like that there's a phone right next to it taking a picture.
Look at Grant holding up his. Grant's like looking at his watch. And Mark's like, I'm alive! I'm alive! And Mikey's own wife is like videotaping him. He's like, hold still, Mikey, I gotta get this. Oh, that is too good.
Stevie. You should have seen it. Mikey was hiding in the corner where the buttons were. So therefore, most of the time, nobody could see Mikey.
Oh, my God.
And I really like the picture of David coming out of the elevator. You can see in shot that there's another phone taking a picture of David coming out of the elevator. That's great.
Oh, it's too much. It's too much. So, yeah, there were lots of good times to be had. Everything is fun and games. It is all fun and games until. Oh, man. So there was so much. There's so much. I don't want to beat it to death, but there's so much that happened this weekend. Here's a couple more of fairly good pictures here. Let me see if I can.
And Stevie, your screenshot of the text from David Ladd while this incident was happening.
Yeah, that was great. Well, because I guess what happened is both of you guys had sent me a text, because Grant sent me a text and David sent me a text, but because you were in that Faraday cage or maybe because I'm in the basement, I didn't get your text until. Either you guys got out or I got out of the basement. But later on, I'm seeing the text. Oh, by the way, they're stuck in an elevator, right? So help, we're stuck in an elevator. It's like, dude. So, yeah, that was great. I'm trying to find the thing. But let's. I'm sorry, getting ready to say something, Mikey?
Yeah, I only have a couple minutes. We're waiting for the plane back to San Jose. We're in New York, JFK right now.
Ah, New York.
So that's a JFK ceiling behind you?
Yeah, and all the people and whatnot.
Excellent, excellent. Well, hopefully Simon's still here. I don't know if Simon's still here. Simon, are you still with us? Simon Jonassen?
Yep.
All right. So many things happened at the CoCoFEST. You've seen lots of pictures, lots of good times. We had some good times. We had some tragedy. We had some trauma and some drama, but somehow we all survived. But one of the other things, besides seeing Stephen Hirsch demonstrate or talk about Speed Racer and some really cool historical stuff from the CoCo, we got to meet Simon Jonassen in person. And not only did we get to meet Simon Jonassen in person,
Yes. And we have
Gotta
sound.
love perky tipples. I mean nipples.
I don't hear any sound though.
Sproing.
It starts with the I hear it.
Sounds good here.
Looks like it crashed.
Yeah, it looked like it crashed. Okay.
Don't you just hate that on live demos?
Yeah, well.
Same thing happens to Bill Gates.
The last part of that demo was really, really, really hairy. We got that done like half an hour before the demonstration.
Sure.
If you want to see, the last part. Yeah, well, you don't need to. I mean, I can show you the last part if you want to. I could just assemble it. Knocked up again. Stevie. Yeah, but it's hairy. It's very hairy. You know,
yeah, just a bit of an explanation too for people that don't realize the technical details. Simon is playing music, multi-voice music simultaneously while loading off the original disk controllers that actually halt the CPU completely. So he's actually interleaving it while loading sectors. That's when the spinning dots come on, and everything else is all going simultaneous, and that's an incredible feat to pull off.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, definitely.
So, but yeah, I was like fighting until the last moment to get that done.
And I know Alan Huffman had some questions when he was watching the demo. Rob Inman says Stevie can't get past level 1 on the demo.
It wasn't even finished, to be honest. It wasn't even finished because there was a lot more to go. So I just tried to do what I could in the time I had, you know.
Yeah,
you need hotkeys and skip ahead.
Quite impressive.
So tell us about the Taurus. How does that work?
Well, the Taurus itself, because everyone's asking about that. Like, are you double buffering? Are you just flipping pages like bang, 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 bang? I'm actually not flipping any single page at all. The Taurus is in itself like a rainbow. Yeah, so you've got half the Taurus, and 25 frames are pre-calculated in a Pascal program. So when the loader stops, you got the spinny thing, the Netflix thing. When that stops and the CoCo goes black, it's actually calculating the next 25 frames for the subsequent 90-degree rotation. And it's being plotted a word at a time in real time, and the top and bottom halves are mirrored, and there is no double buffering. The only part of that demo that is double buffered is the rotor zooming chessboard.
Oh, the rotating checkerboard thing that we saw earlier in the demo.
That's the only part of the demo that is double buffered.
And that's just to smooth that ripple effect you otherwise get if you're trying to draw it in real time without time to pause the frames.
Yeah, so we saw the spinning donut, the bouncing donut thing, the Taurus, which looks really cool. But then at the end, there's this kind of like rope weave thing that's rotating and everything, and it looked really, really cool. And unfortunately, we couldn't get to that piece right now. But that also was not being double buffered, right? That's all being rendered real time, right?
It's being rendered real time. What it's doing, if you imagine you have a 256 byte sinus curve in memory, which is just basically going like that, because a sinus curve will describe a circle, sine, cosine, and 90 degrees from each other. So it will describe a circle. But if you make it like 2 pi in 256 bytes, it will describe a complete rotation, and your loop back point will come back to the start. So what I'm doing there is actually saying, okay, for the first point of it, let's describe a set of top points for our plot. Set of top points for our plot. And then what I do is say, okay, plot it column by column by column by column. Yeah? And for the actual, you see it rotating around itself. That is palette manipulation.
Okay. So it's still doing kind of the wave sign, but then you're doing some stuff inside the wave to make it look like it's also spinning on itself while it's waving, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, it's neat though. That's really neat.
A lot of demos are all smoke and mirrors at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, like Sockmaster's bouncing ball, which is using horizontal and vertical offsets and palette switching and changing palettes midstream on the screen.
Exactly, and that's the way the donut bounces up and down, because that's just using the offset registers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would like to have seen that last a little bit longer. It was by the time you start to absorb what's going on, it's already moved on to another thing. But that little donut thing was really cool looking. And you did. I mean, it's nice how you got like the kind of dithered look with all your different shades of blue to make it look, kind of 3-dimensional and stuff. It's a really cool looking thing.
I tell you, it was hard to work out the palette for that, because it's a Pascal program on a high level that actually calculates each single frame with a frontal light source. And there's 25 frames to get a 90-degree rotation. So when the screen goes black, the CoCo actually calculates the other 25 frames. So in principle, the 25 frames of half the torus, just like a rainbow, is 14.4K. So when it's just half and rendered to the next 90-degree rotation, because the calculation itself kind of does that. Yeah, and I calculate the other half where the CoCo itself flips the nibbles. Flips the nibbles on the bites and calculates.
Were those things we saw bouncing before? Were those flipping nibbles that we saw bouncing up and down earlier in the demo?
Hi-oh. That'll be nipple.
It's a mispronunciation.
Okay.
No,
I'd like to flip those nibbles.
This is not an after dark show.
Is that her name? Mispronunciation.
That does sound like a beauty contest, doesn't it? Along with misunderstanding.
Yeah. I do have a technical question for Simon, and that is to getting how you manage to interleave a halting floppy controller to be simultaneously playing music and loading stuff and doing your little dots to show that it's still actually running.
Yeah,
because you did some special disk formatting and stuff, I believe, and special interleaves and stuff to get that to work.
Well, the only part of that demo that uses a special interleave would be the initial load. And the initial load would be what Steve Bjork was talking about on Discord the other day, where it's like, okay, 2 revolutions per track. So basically, the subsequent loading is normal interleave. I mean, you can just do a backup on that disk, and it'll work fine. It's just doing the normal interleave, but between every sector, it's waiting X amount of vertical syncs. It's not loading fast. I had to experiment with, okay, how do you make 7.8 kilohertz music play at the same time as you're loading stuff? And yes, I did get loading errors, as Steve Bjork speculated. Which is why I increased the latency on it, but I found a sweet spot.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, why do you think it's like freezing for me now on these 2 tries and it didn't freeze earlier this morning on my CoCo?
I tell you what, I don't want to be speculative.
Yeah, well, here's, and I don't know, honestly, I don't know if it's that, but we did test it and it did play all the way through, but I do have 2 megs of memory in here, and maybe you haven't tested it with 2 megs before, and I don't know. Do you think that's possible?
But we have.
Yeah, you have. Ron has tested it with 2 megs?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What board did you use? What board did you use, Ron?
Boomerang.
And what board have you got, Stevie?
Yeah, I got a Boomerang too. Yeah.
But me and Ron had issues testing it before. I mean,
are you both running 6309s or 6809s?
I'm running a 6309 too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's actually designed to work on a bog standard 128K 6809,
which it also worked on. I tested it on that.
Yeah. So Ron was helping you test it on a variety of hardware. So we don't know why. It could just be my CoCo.
Yes.
I had it working. It worked fine here on my CoCo 3.
What I'll do is later on, I'll get online and do a firmware update to my CoCo. It probably doesn't have the latest updates.
Why don't you play it on VCC version 2? It plays perfectly on that too.
Yeah.
And you can screen share it.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, Simon? You want me to run it on VCC?
Yeah, it'll work.
Yeah, run it on VCC, and I'll tell you what, do a full screen, because then you can see, just press F11 on VCC, then you can see how it's loading different sectors from the track.
All right, it's going to take me a few minutes to do that, because I don't even know where I have VCC on my computer right now, so we might need to table that. We might, if somebody else has one that they could screen share. I mean, right now, because I'm trying to run the show and I've got everything on my screens, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me to do that. So if somebody else could get VCC up and running,
I might be able to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to just try to screw up the live stream while we're doing it. All right, well, we'll hopefully see a little bit more of the demo. But yeah, today is all about talking about CoCoFest, all the good times that we had at CoCoFest. We saw the demo. Hopefully we'll see some more demo. We did try to get a couple of pictures of us standing outside by the sign. That we did have our Sunday night dinner at Fuddruckers, so a lot of us made it to dinner. There's Paul Thayer. This is William Astle, and there's Simon Jonassen again. There's
That's
a
his
classic
reaction when the demo crashed. So.
Yeah, there's his classic madman look. Right, that's a nice looking mushroom burger, eh? A lot of people here sitting down eating some food. Food is being had by all. Good times were had by all. There's somebody's hair. That's a great shot. Eric Canales. More people eating. There's me and Rob Inman, and it's like I don't know where the hell Rob Inman was most. Here's the screwed up thing about CoCoFest. We're all there. We're not that far away, but it's still hard to see people sometimes. It seems like, you know. So at least I did get a picture of Rob Inman. One of the few times
Too
I
much
saw
stuff
him.
going on.
Yeah,
Too much simultaneously.
There's Rob behind me and Max Jackson, and there's me and Terry Steen, creator of Balloon Fire, killer of couches. It's Terry Steen himself. There, Matt Witt was at my first CoCoFest, which was the 25th annual. So Matt Witt made it. There's Matt, myself, and Boise Pete in the middle there. Boise popped in. There's Simon. We were saying goodbye to Simon because he had to go. Everybody's saying goodbye to Simon. There's us. There's me giving Curtis a hug. Isn't that cute? I should make that my wallpaper, huh? Me and Curtis hugging.
Yeah.
Aww. Yeah. Yeah. So there we go. Once again.
Stuck in an elevator. Gotta get home from the club Friday. Stuck in an elevator. Gotta admit we don't smell the best. Yeah, yeah. Dude look like a lady.
Now that one just said randomly in there. Yeah, some of these pictures came. There's Brian Weasler and myself. Some of the pictures came through. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Terry Steen, maker of the world famous game Balloon Fire. Say hi,
now
Terry.
Available on console. How old were you when you came up with that? Like 17? Like 18? Still in high school, or? I think I was just finishing high school. Yeah. And then you contacted T&D out in Michigan.
Ladies. There we go. Here's the text message. Help! We're stuck in the elevator. David Ladd texting me. Oh, there's Morgan Speaker. There's some of the booth babes right there. Neil Blanchard brought the booth babes. There's Neil and the booth babes. Neil is a gangster. All right, so here's some new stuff. I mentioned I had some hardware to show off. I wasn't going to try to hold up everything to the camera. But here's some pictures I took this morning with my phone that I uploaded to the photo gallery. This was something I got in an auction. It was a Y cable with a J&M controller and a speech systems stereo pack. So apparently, Curtis, help the audience at home know what we're looking at here.
This is basically the equivalent of an Orchestra 90, but a year before the Orchestra 90 came out. So Speech Systems, who made the composer, then Musica and Lyra, they're very much into music, obviously, with Rich Perry. And this was their stereo pack that was supported by Musica.
The white zone is for loading and unloading of passengers only.
Yeah.
Live from JFK.
So have a good CoCoTALK, guys. See you later.
All right, Mikey. Thanks for joining us, and we're glad we got to see you last weekend.
Glad you got out of the elevator.
I have the emulator up.
Okay, all right, we'll pull it up in a second here. So I'll just finish going through the pictures because then we're done with the photo gallery. So this I got in the auction. So it was actually three things. So it was a Y cable. It was I'll stop sharing my sound, so you'll be ready to share here in just a second, Ron. So it was a Y cable. It was this stereo cartridge and then a J&M controller. And so this is some pictures of the inside. It's got two RCA outs for the stereo out. This is the CoCo I got, and we were looking at this last night. So it's a Rev D board. So there's the board that it has. But I bought this CoCo because it had the HJL keyboard, which I wanted. And I was originally thinking I was going to take the keyboard out and stick it in my computer that I just had CoCo VGA upgraded. But the keyboard's in there so well, it doesn't look like it's going to come out easily, and I don't want to screw up this computer because this is a really nice computer. So here's kind of another look. There's the HJL keyboard. Looks really nice.
And a composite mod too, I think.
Composite mod on here too. Here's kind of the RF can, so I'll pull that out of the way in just a second. But so this is the D-board CoCo. Looking at it kind of from above here. And why do these pictures come out so damn small now? These are the ones from my phone that are coming out small. So there's the composite mod. There's your RF. So I've shown you guys these pictures because I've never seen a composite mod that had like a little alligator clip on here tapping into one of the leads to the RF can. But I don't
one like that.
Oh, do you?
That's the same one I have.
Okay, I had just never seen that before. So
you've got three outputs. You've got the I believe the alligator clip was for sound.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And did two other cables. One is monochrome composite, and the other's color composite.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be.
I don't remember who did it.
There
the
is
schematic is somewhere.
There is also I mean, with my composite mod that I did earlier this year, it takes just a full composite signal. So there's one video signal, there's one audio signal, and then there's a plus 12 volt rail to power it. So the three connections on mine are power, video, and audio. Pin 3 on the RF converter is audio.
Okay. Well, as again, I don't look inside computers too often to be honest with you either. So that it was just kind of cool to see that. Now I'm trying to find where I can get back to showing off my left screen again. Right screen, left screen. All right, so this is the memory, and this I also thought was kind of interesting. Kind of these jumper wires going from some of the memory chips. So there's like these kind of wire wrap looking things here for the memory upgrade, but this is an official Tandy memory upgrade. But also the ROM chips, there's a standard basic and extended basic, and there's ceramic ROM chips, which I thought was kind of cool. Here's a closer up picture of the ROM chips, right? So here's the Motorola 6809.
Hang on.
But there's the ROM chips.
We're looking at the Taurus data.
Well, nobody else is because it's not on the stream.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, I know you see it. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so here's kind of a bird's eye view of the inside of that motherboard on this CoCo, which, again, I'm not used to looking at too many CoCo ones, and especially if any type of upgrades or mods.
And that wire strap going across the RAM was to get the 32 and 64K to work on a D-board.
Okay. Yeah, so I just thought that was kind of interesting, so I snapped some pictures of that. Here is one of these chips that's feeding into the composite mod. I don't know if that's an existing chip that they just tapped into, or if they added that chip.
That's the one that the 6847 feeds that turns it in from the I can't remember the name of the signals, but the
YUV signals, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
it's
and it turns it into the actual composite or RF.
So you got F keys.
Yeah, so here's a close-up of the HJL keyboard, which is a nice keyboard, but it's got like this metal brackets, and so they had like these little, there's the posts, but then there's like these little metal kind of grommet things going over the posts holding it down, and I just didn't feel comfortable trying to take those off, and I figured this is such a nice keyboard and it's so rare to find this that anything I do will probably screw it up because I'm not a hardware guy. So
you can screw them off.
Yeah, I know. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. I felt like this keyboard had a better chance of survival if I did not try to work on it. So
the unique thing about that keyboard is the F2 key has a lock.
Yeah, you can lock down the F2 key, but it's a great feeling keyboard, and they're all mechanical switches. So and look how clean that keyboard is. I mean, it looks. This is from the original owner that we bought it from in the auction, so it looks really good. And then this is the serial number. So it's the serial number 2734 with 26-3017 32K RAM upgrade, which might actually be a 64K upgrade. I haven't tested it yet. Haven't done the Sailor Man test, but we'll get there. And breaking seal will void warranty, but of course the seal was broken. So here's the Best of Myro, which I showed you guys. Here's the inside of the Best of Myro. There's my Hunt the Wumpus cartridge, which I got Evan Wright to autograph for me. There's the Far Fall cartridge. There's the Knight's Lore cartridge. Everything's looking good. So we've come full circle. We are now back to the main screen, and I believe somebody's going to share something with us so we can see the demo that was not working on my CoCo.
Yeah, but I don't have very good internet, so we'll see, huh? We will see. Now, let's share this one. Or this. Share. Are you seeing it?
Now we do.
Yep.
Load them main. Yep.
Okay, so
and you
now
have to share your system sound. Go to advanced and share system sound.
Advanced.
Sharing advanced share system sound.
We can actually see the
It's
individual
under Zoom.
colours.
It's under Zoom when you do it in Zoom. Under Zoom sharing.
I don't see it. Maybe it's in more.
I don't know. I hear a cat purring in the microphone.
Yeah, so do I.
So if are you hearing me?
I hear you, yes. But when
Okay.
when you go to screen share in Zoom, there's an advanced sharing option, or when you go to share something, you can tell it to also share sound.
Well,
or
I
share
don't
audio.
see anything. It says
All right.
it says mute, stop video, participants, new share, pause share.
Okay, well, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try it. Let's see what happens.
All right.
We may or may not hear it. If we can't hear it, that's okay. Although the music is really nice. There's that Desiree. Yeah.
Do you hear it?
Yeah. Oh, boobies.
Mispronunciation.
I love that oscilloscope. It's a donut disaster.
It's still going.
VCC does what the CoCo don't. There it is.
It looked more 3D on the hardware, the rope itself.
Yeah, well, you get the idea here. It looks really good. And the fact the music is playing the whole time, you know. That's cool. Thank you, Ron Delvo.
I'm surprised it
Thank
worked.
you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
Yeah. Cool. That's the Madman's demo. The world to see.
Now, Simon, are you planning on releasing the full demo with the credits and stuff that you didn't have time to jam in there at some point, or?
Yes, I am. And it's probably going to be at some Euro party.
Oh, cool.
So,
I know you mentioned there was a whole closing credits thing that you didn't have time to put in.
Yeah, there are about 3 or 4 parts left that were not displayed at CoCoFEST.
And you still have room on a floppy for it, huh?
I've still got half a floppy disk left.
Load it up.
Am I flipped?
That's pretty impressive in itself, fitting all of that on a floppy as well.
Yeah. And running in a stock 128K CoCo.
Yeah. No SID chips, no nothing fancy like that.
Yeah, well, who needs a SID chip?
Obviously we don't. Or obviously you don't.
I like one.
No, it's impressive, Simon.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. But it wasn't a singular effort. It was a team effort, you know, because there are other guys behind this. You know, I've got an audio guy. I've got different graphics guys. I'm just the code guy, yeah.
Well,
I'm looking forward to the full demo with all the parts, you know, that you didn't have time to complete.
Is any possibility that the ladies' camera can go even lower too? So.
Stevie,
it would be Stevie that thinks of that. But,
that's the After Dark episode version.
my inner 14-year-old is really intrigued by seeing, you know, dithered boobies.
Booby, we like the booby.
You're going to type that into the speech down pack now and get it to pronounce it.
Oh, that'll turn us all on. Yeah. So
that sounds like a After Dark episode titled "Dithered Boobies."
Oh, don't worry, I'll take care of that.
Oh man,
ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Creepy David Ladd.
Creepy David Ladd at your cervix. Yeah, good times. Good times were had by all. It's all fun and games until somebody gets stuck in an elevator, but we still manage, between hitting sofas and you know, almost falling into the pits of Hades. We survived and we had a great weekend, and if I had to do it all over again, I would do it all over again. And yeah, it's been fun. This has been my 4th one in a row, and they keep getting better. They get more social, they get more exciting. New products coming out every year.
Next year is the 40th.
Yeah.
Not the 40th CoCoFEST, but
the 40th of the CoCo itself.
And the 40th anniversary of the TRS-80 color computer. Yeah, so hopefully that'll motivate some more people to come out. And you know, it's not always easy, but we have people literally coming from around the world. You know, William Astle drives down 32 hours is his drive or something.
That's about 26, 20. Yeah, about 26, 27.
Yeah, so it's an insane
32
amount
hours
of time.
metric.
Yeah, 32 metric. Okay. Yeah, Curtis is driving 20 some odd hours. You know, so there are people flying from all around the country, all around the world. It's nice.
Australia, we had
Craig Stewart was there. Greg Zumwalt showed up. That was unexpected. Stephen Hirsch was there from Speed Racer. All of our current hardware and software makers, most of them were all there.
I also want to give a big shout out, thank you to Stevie and Grant and David and Jim Brain and others for helping fund me get through this year, because I hit some problems with work, as some of you are aware. So I wasn't going to make it because I just didn't have the money for it. But thanks to you guys chipping in, I did make it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd like to thank anybody and everybody that chipped in for the GoFundMe.
Yeah,
because
that was amazing.
For me, that was like, okay, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, that was amazing.
We want you to show up.
Yeah. Well, this is again. I know it sounds kind of cliche, and the word is thrown around a lot. But when you hear the word community and family, they can be sometimes over trivialized. But I mean, I was in a similar situation last year. I had some financial challenges, and I didn't think I was going to be able to make it. And I was able to be helped by a few members of the community, and I was glad that this year I was able to pay it forward. So I was able to help out a few people myself, and that's all you can hope to do. We're all friends here. We're trying to do what we can. It's not everybody can't do it, but the one thing I would say is now we have a year. You have a year to plan. You have a year to save, right? And and other than, I understand if you're like retired or something else, and I didn't say the other R word, but if you're on a fixed income, that's something. But if you've got like a regular job, even if you don't have a lot of money, you try to find a way, save some money, mow some lawns, do like what we did back in the day when we were kids. Get a paper route, return some bottles, mow some lawns, do something. You got a year. And figure it out. Try and get there.
We'll charge for Kit Kats. I mean, oops.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? What are you doing? I'm taking out a paper route and I'm mowing some lawns so I can go to CoCoFEST next year. You can think of how many lawns you can mow in the next year, right? So
you have to move the fest to fall for that to work.
Yeah, right. So if you can, and the good news is what a lot of us have done. We have shared rooms and shared expenses and carpooling if necessary. Find a way, but plan it. You got a year, figure it out. Let's blow the roof off that place next year, right? So
well, I'm definitely gonna do it again.
Yeah. Yes, David Ladd.
Oh, I was going to say it's like with my car, I think I only had to fill up twice. Well, no, actually, when I finally got home, I had to fill up. So that's 3 times, I think, total for the gas to just get to Chicago and home was roughly $65, $70 for the full round trip. So that was for 8.5 hours out and 8.5 hours back. So carpooling definitely would make a difference if people share a ride, because then you can cut that gas down. One person.
And I did that on the first Tandy assembly. Michael Brandt and we carpooled. I rented a car, so we shared the rental costs, we shared the fuel costs, we shared the room costs, and so between the two of us, it became very affordable to drive there from Florida.
Well, it depends on how big the person is in the car, because if you're a heavy guy, you're going to take down the miles per gallon.
Or an elevator.
Oh, so you know on that, huh, Grant?
Or you bring your brother.
Yes, yeah, bring your brother to CoCoFEST, right? So
that's a new initiative there. That this was the second year of Bring Your Brother to CoCoFEST, and glad to see that the Thayer brothers carried that torch this year and whatnot. But yeah, I feel very fortunate that it's only an 8-hour drive plus. Plus, my brother lives about halfway in between here and there, so that works out well too if I want to break up the drive or carpool.
Yeah. So yeah, great job, Tony Pedraza and Glenside and everybody else who coordinated that and made it happen. Another great fest. This is my 4th one in a row. I can't say what my favorite one is. It's hard to say what the best one is, but they continue to be rewarding adventures and experiences and good times to be had by all. And so
worth the trip.
Yeah, well worth the trip, and hopefully we'll see all of you next year and maybe even sooner at other events like some of our VCFs, our vintage different places around the country, and Tandy assemblies and a few other retro events in between. Rob Inman's been out there in the chat. There's been so many people in chat that I have not been able to stay on top of them. Has anybody been saying hi to people in the chat and stuff? There's been so many.
Always.
Mark Overholzer has been.
Yeah.
There was speculation as who Anonymous was.
I don't know. Now Anonymous has become this. What does that even say? I don't even know what that looks like. A Power Ranger or something down there. I don't know what that is. The Stig?
It looks like from Top Gear. Yeah, the
Stig.
Okay.
Unknown professional race car driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the live chat, we've had Curtis Boyle, we've had Mark Oberholzer, and Rob Inman, and Retro Innovations, and Eddie Serbinski, and Paul Fiscarelli, and Dave Phillipson, and Nick Marotta, Mark Overholzer, Tim Franklin, Fred Dufas, or Dufas, or I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Dufas. Dufas. Tim Franklin, Rick Adams, Paul Fiscarelli, Tim Franklin, Nick Marotta. Do we have a sound bite for that? Nick Marotta. Okay. Rob Inman, and we also have Ken Reichert, best known as the brother of Jason Reichert, has been out there. Rick Adams and Ken and Mark and Rob and all kinds of people. Tim Franklin, Ken, who else? James Jones was out there. Hey, James Jones, and Fred and Eddie and Retro Innovations and Rob Inman, and Davey Mitchell said hi, everyone out there. Hi, Davey Mitchell in the UK. Mark Overholzer, Nick Marotta, Rob Inman. Richard Lorbieski was out there. He was also on the panel earlier today. Ken Reichert, Rob Inman, lots of people. Sean Wheatley was out there. Hey, Sean, thanks for stopping by. Eddie Serbinsky, Ken Reichert, Al Hartman from Jersey's out there. Coco Man is out there. Retro Innovations. Who else? Give them shout outs to everybody. No, I didn't see any booth babes in the live chat.
Did we have Nick Marotta?
Nick Marotta might have been in the live chat. Mikey was in the live chat. He likes it. Al Hartman. And Retro Innovations. Russell Flowers. Hey, Russell, how are you? And Coco Man and Robert Sieg is out there. And Fred, do me a favor. Pronounce your name for us. Spell out how to pronounce your name. Is it Dufas or Dufois? I don't know how to say your name. I don't want to misrepresent you. Duffus, I don't know. Robert Sieg, who this guy takes MC10s a little too far. He adds CoCo VGAs. He adds turbochargers to him. He's got hydraulic lifts. Dufas. Dufas me. It sounds like I'm thinking of a different song. All right. So Rammstein. And so a lot of people out there in the live chat. Thank you guys. And as you guys know, this show has been inspired between the CoCo Crew podcast, which got me inspired to go to CoCoFEST, and it's been inspired by CoCoFEST. We're now on 107 episodes and 2 years later. So that inspiration and that motivation keeps moving forward, keeps paying it forward. The good times are happening. The good times are rolling. The families are growing. The community's bonding and getting stronger. And it's all happy, happy, joy, joy until somebody gets
Stuck in the elevator. Gotta get home from the CoCoFEST. Stuck in the elevator.
You're hearing it.
We don't smell the
Sounds
best.
awesome.
I love it. I love it when there's the music and only Stevie can hear.
There's the music in my head, man.
It looks like he's having a seizure. So.
I am Fred Dufas. Prepare to die.
Now we just need Nick Marotta to play that on the uke.
Yes. Stuck with the ukulele.
If we do end up moving venues, I would rather get stuck on an escalator this time around because it's a little bit easier.
Oh, don't worry. If the new venue happens to be where VCF Midwest used to be,
there is no elevator.
Yeah, it's and you can walk from the hotel portion to the venue without going outside. So those that don't like going outside and getting wet, no problem.
And there's a bar.
You had me at bar.
Great. Curtis is going to be drunk again.
Yeah.
Drunk in an elevator.
Now, Heron Point does have an Amish escalator.
An Amish escalator. You have to climb it yourself, huh?
Yeah, totally manual.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's built in one day.
All right. Well, I think we had a good show, and I think we should keep it as short and as sweet as possible. The only thing I wanted to do today was to just really celebrate and commemorate the great weekend we had last weekend. We had a really good time. Everybody who was there, even the ones who got stuck in an elevator, still had a good time. The ones that hit couches had a good time. Everybody had a good time. Good times
Steve,
were had.
You're
Yes,
still
Ron.
you're still on the will.
I'm still in the will. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ron. But like I told you, I would rather have you with us than get an inheritance, because you can't be replaced, Ron. You're one of a kind. So and get Ron. If you guys have not met Ron Delvaux in person, that in itself should be reason to come out to CoCoFEST, because he's a hoot. He's a hoot. So
especially if you can go have lunch with him.
Ron is a hoot, and the Sunday auction was just
back at it.
I don't remember half the crap he said, but I couldn't stop laughing the whole time. He just everything that came out of his mouth was comedy gold. I remember one as we sat behind John in the front row. It's like, hey, I can't see. Do you mind moving back?
Yeah, can you go to the back of the room? I can't see. He goes, what? No, I'm not moving. I go, thanks. I got to stare at your face, even though I'm seeing the back of it. He's got a picture of himself on his back.
And Ron's building $19 on everything, no matter what it is. $19. It was his new nickname, so it was. We've got to have footage of that somewhere. I think I've got a whole bunch of stuff on my camera. I'm gonna have to download and post later on.
I was so tired. I caught a couple of snoozes in between, just like you're yawning.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, it wasn't until just about last night when I finished sort of putting everything away. I still had 2 CRTs in the back of my car since Tuesday that have been sitting there because I haven't had time or the energy to find a place to put them. So
well, they're going to be retro-rated automatically.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of CRTs, that's one of the things I forgot I got in the auction. And I only bought it because I brought a TV with me, and it was like this Samsung TV, VGA, all-in-one computer monitor TV thing. But the CoCo VGA signal would not show up on my Samsung TV VGA input. So I was kind of bummed out. I wanted to see it. I wanted to play with it. It didn't work. And the Saturday auction, there was a Dell VGA monitor, 17 or 15-inch flat screen, really nice glass tube CRT, and I got it for literally $1 in the auction. And at the time, the only reason why I bought it is I figured I'm just going to use it to show off my CoCo VGA, and then when I'm done, I'll stick it on the free table, let somebody get it. I need this like a hole in the head. But the more I looked at it, the more I looked at this CoCo VGA on this CRT, I'm like, my God, this looks so good. I mean, it's almost like you smoke some of that good stuff. You're like, oh my God, it looks so good, man. And so just you're looking at this CRT and the CoCo VGA with all of its artifacts. It was just really amazing to see it on that sharp screen, so I kept it. So I've got a big ass Dell frickin' CRT that I will never use ever again, but it's like it was $1, and it's like, why throw it away? If I do another like Florida Retro Club meeting, I can bring it with me and hook it up to that so people can see it, But
yeah, but it is heavy, isn't it?
Oh, it's a frickin' brick. Yeah. So yeah, I got a lot of cool stuff in the auction. A few things I got via proxy because the power of the internet. We had some people watching us live saying, "Hey, bid on this or bid on that." So we got a few things for friends. Like Nick Marentes wanted that Y cable for God knows why, but he wanted the Y cable, so I got the Y cable for him, and a couple other things came with it. So,
why did he want the Y cable?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was some of the stuff I was hanging out on with those guys on Zoom and just went around to the auction table and they're like,
yeah,
hey, what's this? Hey, what's that? I want this. I want that. And then the auction started and I just got my $5 little tripod for my cell phone and sat it on that table over there and plugged in the charger and just let it go. And seemed like that worked out well. And I also forgot something. Speaking of the auction, I picked up a disc controller, but that was for a broken disc controller, but that was for someone else. But Eric Canales had picked up a CM8 with a door, and then later he sold the CM8 without the door. I picked that up before I left, so now I have 2 CM8s for testing and demoing purposes.
That have doors or have not?
No doors, no. Eric, I think he said he bought it for $50 and sold it to me for $30. So he has a $20 door for a CM8 now.
I got the Y cable, so everyone can ask me why.
Why? Why, Nick?
Why?
Why? So I've got it
I
all
don't know
packed.
why.
I've got it all packed up. I just got to weigh it and get the label.
So,
All right.
Steve, in 3 years, you'll have acquired a whole bunch more stuff. Is your room adequate?
I'm actually trying to down. So we spent most of the day today gutting my garage. So we're going to be getting more shelves, and I'm going to be offloading a lot of things from here into the garage, just putting everything in clear tote bins so I can see where it all is and have it all organized, but I just don't want it all in here because all it's doing is taking up space. And most of the stuff in here I just don't use.
Well, see now, Ron's got the garage thing, so I think you're going to have to come up with something else.
Well, I'll call it the man cave.
There you go.
We each have to have space.
Yeah, gotta have our space.
Stevie's man cage.
Stevie's man cave.
Man cage.
Man cave. Yeah,
Man
whatever.
cave. That's something else.
It's not too much stuff if you can still get the car in it.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this, because I'm kind of out of things to talk about. I didn't want to get into news. We got a lot of news, but I'm going to save that for another time. You guys want to see a CoCo VGA demo of what it looks like? Because I have that, and I can show it to you guys if you want to see it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were looking at this the other night, and I really like it. So I want to make sure this CoCo is turned off.
Is the one written by...
It's written by Brendan. It's not the one his
Yeah.
daughter made.
No.
Although I'd like to see that one.
This shows all the fonts and stuff.
I have that one too, but yeah, I think that one will do that. So let me just see. So this one needs to be on either position 3 or position 4. I don't remember. I got this whole HDMI switcher.
There's
we have
no
somebody.
sound.
Well, I don't think the demos have sound.
No. So you can play elevator music in the background.
Yeah.
Or we can fake it.
Okay, Bruce, we need a Muzak version of Stuck in an Elevator.
Yeah.
How about the girl from Ephenema in the background?
Oh, God.
Okay, I think this one's called
with a
Mode
ukulele
Demo.
solo.
Yeah, let me switch down.
Devices not available.
Need
We
need a
don't
new
know,
voice.
Pete, do we? We don't
Need
know,
a new-
Pete.
You need
Is it
a new
maybe just
voice.
not emotionally available?
The old voice isn't working. Needs a new voice. Your voice not working.
Here's a different one. So it's a big downer, man.
Stevie, you keep letting us down. We're depressed.
Oh, there's a new one.
I
So,
changed nothing.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So, anyways,
It's Windows 10. It changes up for
yeah,
you.
it's weird now. It's like there's getting to be now conflicts with my XSplit software in Zoom, where they don't want to share things as well as they used to, and I don't know which one updated that broke the other one, but they're just not. Rob Eamon says device not available, like most products from Retro Innovations.
Oh, burn.
That is just terrible. Terrible.
We need a chart.
Now, who do we have on here that is named Brock now? Is this the same person that's been calling themselves Anonymous and the Stig and everything else? Is somebody just playing games here right now?
I think someone is
Are we being trolled?
Well, no, that was the anonymous guy earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually did get trolled before. Somebody came on with some really weird name and tried to say some inappropriate things, but I was able to mute them rather
Is
quickly.
there any way you can do an IP check or something on?
I don't know. I mean, right now I have Zoom just kind of open. The only other option is to have people, blocked by, muted and closed by default until we turn them on. But that's just a lot more work. So
It might be John Linville as Brock.
is there a gameplay video of the Knights lore game? There will be, because I've done one video on it before when he was still porting it, but now there's the cartridge version. So I will do an updated video of the cartridge version.
So we'll at least get to see part of level 1.
Yes. So there's a few things I've got to work out.
Not knights, plural.
What's that, James?
Isn't it just knight lore, not plural.
Oh, night lore, not plural. Could be night lore. Yeah, could be. And I think it's
Are
from
these
the
the games? Are those the games that Neil was selling?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, that and Hunt the Wumpus. So there's
Mhm.
2 new games to actually demo.
Yeah, a lot of CoCo cartridge games this year. And that one was kind of under wraps the whole time, was that night lore. So it must have been like a CoCoFEST reveal that game is out there now.
Yeah, that was one of the most popular games on the Spectrum.
Yeah, yeah. And it is a port. Now, from what Neil said, this particular version will actually take advantage of the of their Sega joypad adapter. So if you've got the Sega joypad adapter and you've got a Sega controller that's got more than 2 buttons on there, it will take advantage of extra buttons. So technically, this is So this is the first commercial game, not only on a cartridge, but to take advantage of that hardware product. So that's kind of cool.
Did not realize that. Huh?
I did not know that. Yes.
Weird, wacky, wild stuff.
Yes, I did not know that. Now, I can't find my freaking outro. Here's my main outro. Found it. All right. So we had more to show, but we're going on almost 3 hours. And again, I wanted to keep this all CoCoFEST related. I think we've done a good job there. We should probably quit while we're ahead. There's more content to share. Yeah, we got a lot of news to cover. We got more content to cover. The next obvious question would be, do you guys want to do an After Dark? And what I'm going to say to you is this, is if for me to do an After Dark, I would rather not be a CoCo After Dark, but actually a retro talk, because I have a ton of PC stuff now too. I've got 2 different Voodoo boards. I've got 3 or 4 different Sound Blaster cards. I got a lot of cool retro PC stuff too that are acquisitions that I didn't talk about on this show. So
yeah, retro's cool. Retro
yeah.
cool.
So if so, my vote would be, if we do a later talk tonight, that it wouldn't be another CoCo talk, but it would be just a generic retro talk.
Which can include CoCo stuff, so you can cover both.
No,
obviously.
no. You either agree with me or you're wrong. So. So
remember who has the
I'm agreeing you're wrong.
Oh, okay, perfect. So yeah, so
you know what kind of tater you are?
what kind of tater am I, Ron?
We're a dictator.
I agree with the first half especially.
Oh, you walked right into that one.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I would like to add one thing. Next week, I'm going to try to pop in live from Hamvention.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Our roving reporter.
Some retro stuff out in the flea market next.
Hey,
Saturday.
I got a couple CoCo manuals last year from there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dale Puckett's not going to be at this one, is he?
Oh,
no,
John.
He's not.
Hey.
I checked, because if he was, I was going to go find him and try to.
Yeah, get him on. That'd be good.
Yeah, but no, he's not going to make it to Hamvention this year.
Yeah. So we will wrap this. We're going to wrap up this wrap-up show. We had at one point in time almost 22 people on the panel. We definitely probably achieved some form of record that nobody cares about. But still with us on the panel, we have L. Curtis Boyle, Mark D. Overholzer, Brian the Music Man, The Shoe, David O'Connor, and Kat. We've got this guy here that we call Nick Baroda. And we've got Ron Delvo and Jason the CoCo Man Reichert and Mark Bosley, who's been graciously streaming for us in the past. Thank you, Mark B. We've got a guy who often gets Greg Leedy.
That's a great air guitar song.
It is. Or ukulele. $5 ukulele. Yeah, so also stuck in the elevator with him, his snuggle buddy David Ladd is here.
Dude sounds like a lady.
Dude sounds like a lady. He does.
Wait.
From down under, Nicholas Marentes. Nick, did you see all the ROM cartridges I purchased at CoCoFEST? How did that make your skin feel? Did your skin crawl seeing all those cartridges?
Better him than me.
I bought those just to piss you off, Nick. So.
But are the games any good?
Yes, actually they all are. Yes, absolutely. And DeBruce is here, the creator of the Stuck in the Elevator song and creator of so many other things. DeBruce has been with us. And David Ladd and Nick Marentes. Alan Huffman joined us again out of Witness Protection Program. Thank you, Alan, for coming back to see us.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
Yes, Alan Huffman has given us sound drops like
David Ladd
and
MC10
and let's not forget
OG Stevie Stroh.
Yeah, all these and more. These are the hits that keep coming from Alan Huffman. And James Diffendaffer, the optimizer of the basic ROMs, the unraveler, the discusser of code optimizations, the exploder of heads, man of many talents, has been with us. Thank you for being here, James.
That's what I mentioned too. John Linville popped up in chat and said he's definitely not Brock for the record.
Oh, yeah, because somebody named Brock showed up on the screen. We had a troll. Gary Neal's here. Gary was at CoCoFEST. Gary joined us on the show a couple weeks ago. Gary, how are you? Can you hear us? Okay, so we are going to go ahead and play the outro, and then we'll have some parting thoughts here in just a minute. What a great show, great show, great show. And we'll be back after these words, kids. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with the purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at CoCoTalk.live. CoCoTALK would not exist without the community and its cast and crew and contributors.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, John Strong, and many more, especially Steve Bjork for his production suggestions. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its contributors. The CoCo Crew podcast at CoCoCrew.org. Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCoFEST at GlensideCCC.com. Retro Innovations at Go4Retro.com. Tandy Assembly at TandyAssembly.com. Boyson Technologies at BOYSONTech.com. Get your own switcheroo and wallaby cable at CoCoMan.biz. Cloud9 Technologies at Cloud9Tech.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. Oh, yeah.
Nick Marotta.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nick Marotta.
Life was so different a month ago. I had no CoCo stuff behind me. I feel like I need to re-record that. Barren.
Well, listen. Not everybody feels competition is a good thing, but when it comes to ukulele now, you've got some competition here. There's Jason Reichert with his $5 ukulele competing for the coveted title of the ukulele king of the CoCo community. So
I think there's no contest.
There's no contest? All right, we'll see about this. So, excellent. Hold on. I'm stepping on crap down here. All right, guys, good show. Any parting thoughts, closing thoughts before we put a fork in this one because it's done?
Was it just me, or did that go really, really fast tonight?
We're just shy of 3 hours, though. You know what I mean? It didn't go fast, but yeah.
It seemed to go fast, but yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like CoCoFEST. It's a long time, but it goes, just like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jim Brain, in that case, it just crawls up until the closing credit.
Well, and this was the CoCoFEST show, so that would make sense that this one would feel like it just flew right by.
Yep.
Quick comment from me. Did anybody hear Boise's CoCoFEST song?
No.
I played it at the CoCoFEST.
Do you have it now?
Yeah, I sent it to you, and I can cue it up here in like about 5 seconds.
Go ahead, cue it up. I've turned off sharing if you need to do it.
Well, they're doing that. I got a question.
Do you have to raise your hand if you go pee, Ron? Or
no? You think at the next CoCoFEST they'll have the actual wampus there?
And I believe that wampus has been hunted. It's kind of like
well, they're hunting
Bigfoot.
For it.
Yeah,
I figure they're catching it.
It's anonymous.
Could be a whole Wumpus family too. You never know. So
The wampus is it's an anonymous wampus. It was trying to troll us.
His name is Brock.
Yeah. Well, the big.
It's not too late to attend North America's largest gathering of color computer devotees. There's only one CoCoFest, and you don't want to miss it. CoCoFest is May 4th and 5th at the Heron Point Convention Center in Lombard, Illinois.
That's cool. It's kind of like the Baby Shark song. So
didn't know it was Boise.
Stuck into my head all night.
Yeah, no, I did not hear that. I haven't finished listening to the other CoCo Crew podcast, so if it's on there, I missed it so far. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, that is actually Boise and his granddaughter.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool. It sounded really good too.
Mm-hmm.
So we played a CoCo Crew commercial on CoCo.
That's cool. And somebody's got
talk.
Mute your computer sound, Gary, if that's you. Gary Neal's in the witness protection program there. He might be the anonymous one. Look at that. Look how dark it is back there.
He said he was having audio issues.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're done. Anybody else? Any parting thoughts? Closing words? Words of wisdom? Words of advice?
Everybody.
We're really looking forward to next year's 40th anniversary of the CoCo.
Yes, definitely.
Let it be. That's words of wisdom, isn't it?
Let it be.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to see a video from 2 years ago of me trolling David Ladd while he was talking about
I love that
VDG
one.
stuff?
Yes.
Nick Marotta likes this one, so
I
by
love
popular request of at least one person, here's the
I
David.
love this one.
This is a little clip that we call David Ladd talks control codes. Enjoy it, folks.
Military
No audio.
You're gonna make me look this up on Snow.
Need audio.
Focus. I mean, audio.
He was never a
How you doing? I'm Steve.
I didn't want to. But what about
I talk with my hands. They're telling you. It was this big. I swear it was this big.
And I'm still Steve.
That looks inappropriate, David.
I'm throwing energy.
Fire.
I'm throwing energy here.
I think
Over my shoulder.
Simon's
Hashtag me too.
This is, yeah, I bet you're right. Yeah, that wasn't that big at all. It was.
Do you have the version with sound?
Well, it came through the stream. It just didn't come across Zoom. That's all.
Because I wasn't sharing sound because Brian was.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So the impact is just a little different.
Well, it's not over yet, so we can switch back. You guys hear some more of this because this is just now when it's starting to get good.
No, more.
alone.
That's good.
When you do the display, then it's handled by that. Those control codes are handled by that. Because right now, the only thing that Curtis has is
like John Strong right there.
Really, are you recording this, Steve?
Not at all, David.
VDG, VGA. So what I was thinking is that you'd have
TTL, drive wire. And he just won't stop talking, will he?
I was sitting there at the hotel lobby, and David's saying drive wire and TTL, and I'm just trying not to start laughing. I'm like, I'm sorry, David. I'm trying not to laugh. It's just you said drive wire like 3 times now.
True. It's if you say it 3 times, it's like Beetlejuice. It'll just happen, right? So it'll appear. So.
And Robin said that David Ladd Vortex is real.
The David Ladd Vortex is real. All right.
We got to play the outro again.
Yes. So we actually have. We have some post credits here. Here's post.
We've gone on so long.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day.
Here's some post credits here for you. Hold on one second. Here.
There you go.
Hi, this is Antonio Jimenez, author of such projects such as the Stevie Throw Devil and the SD Pack, and you are watching CoCoTALk. 3, 2, go.
I'm behind you making faces. Okay.
You have a script?
You're rolling, Curtis. You say whatever the hell you want to say.
Well, give me some kind of guideline.
Hi, this is Curtis Boyle.
Hey, this is Eric, and you're listening to CoCoTALk.
All right, we're rolling. You say whatever you want to say, David.
I can't even think of anything.
Nation, world, sweetie. Weekly, candy computer. Something like that.
Hi, I'm Tim. Playing Daggerith like that idiot from the book. You're watching CoCoTALk.
He said it. It's right there. Thank you, David Ladd. Now get back up there for 1 second.
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
What?
Let's get some drive wire, TTL, ESP.
No, we don't need any drive wire or TTL. Hi, it's Curtis Boyle, part of the CoCoTALk crew of people.
Hi, we're on Elbow Timberman. I guess I'd like to experience CoCoFEST US Con. Do you need this? I brought the only working MC10. I could not get. Couldn't get autograph. By certain someone you know.
The world's leading weekly CoCoTALk show. Yeah, something like that.
Hi, this is Rick Adams, and I'm the author of Temple of Brahm, Shanghai, and now Bomb Threat, and you're listening to Steve Stroh on CoCoTALk.
8-slot MPI, floppy drive, CoCo SDC, Sound Speech Pack, Orchestra 90, RS-232 Pack, Modem Pack, Super IDE. You start adding all those together if you want them all usable at the same time. Well, guess what? You just went over the 4-slot MPI.
You gotta have them all usable at the same time.
Oh, you gotta have them all usable at the same time.
I would buy one.
Swapping cards is so 80s.
I'm going to kick you in the next person.
Oh,
the classics.
Those are the classics. That was recorded at last year's CoCoFEST. Right?
Brian, help me, man. Help me.
Last year's was the best show on Earth.
On greatest show on Earth. Greatest live talk show on Earth.
Yeah, where was that banner, by the way? I missed it.
Behind Curtis.
Well, I have it. Grant gave it to me, but I just threw it up in the room because I figured I had enough crap at my table anyway. So, but I brought it home, so I will probably maybe stick it behind me at some point in time. Greatest live talk show on Earth. So
maybe you could have somebody.
It's not inaccurate.
Yeah.
Just got to find
Well, you have to find. Have somebody make a.
Right. We're gonna press the button. Final
Yes,
thoughts.
You're too kind, and thank you.
We just gotta follow it. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
What is that thing?
I will be thinking.
Are we having a CoCoTALk after tonight?
Well, like I say, if we have one tonight, I'd like it to be more generic retro because I got a lot of PC stuff to work on. I got a lot of stuff. Yeah, so there's a strong possibility.
What is that thing?
That's floating in the middle of the screen there.
Yeah, somebody followed me on Mixer, so that's a little display there. All right, guys, we're going to press the button in 3, Mississippi. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
2, Mississippi.
Bye.
I'll be thinking of you.
Bye.
All right, we're pressing the button, Frank.